I believe we start now. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants from around the globe, my name is Wael Al-Haj Yassin, Associate Professor at Qatar Transportation and Traffic Safety Center. I would like, on behalf of myself and Dr. Muhammad Al-Qaradawi, the Director of Qatar Transportation Center, and Dr. Khalid Naji, the Dean of College of Engineering, to welcome you on this session, on this webinar, which is organized between Qatar University, Qatar Transportation Traffic Safety Center, and the International Road Federation. This workshop or webinar is actually one of the several webinars that we have been organizing with the International Road Federation during the last 5 years. And we are always trying to do this as part of our global contribution to raise awareness on road safety and help to contribute to safer roads. And today's webinar is particularly about road safety audits. We'll try to shade more technical information about these official documents and their preparations and what are the requirements to conduct them. In today's webinar, this webinar will be going for 3 days, starting from today. From now is 12 p.m. Doha time until 4 p.m. Doha time for a period of around 4 hours. Tomorrow we have the second day where it will start around 5 p.m. Doha time, going to 7 p.m. for 2 hours, at the same for day 3. In day 1, we will be covering two major aspects, starting from our colleague Susanna Zamataro, the Director General of International Road Federation, who will be giving us a very important overview about the new decade of action that I think about to be launched in 28 October this month. And followed by starting our technical information about road safety audits, which will be presented through the next 2 days by our close friend and colleague, Engineer Miguel Santos, who is a senior road safety specialist at the Public Works Authority, Ashghal in Qatar. And he was also a senior safety specialist at the projects department in the United Nations. Before we start now with our program for today, I would like to remind you about general ground rules. As Susanna mentioned, that all participants by default are muted and no video can be shared. However, if you have any question, please drop it on the chat. We have so far until this moment more than 400, almost 450 participants. So I'm expecting a lot of questions. It will be difficult to answer all of these. So we'll try to summarize major questions. However, at the end of the presentation, we will have email links where you can drop us your comments or your questions, and we'll get back to you with answers. One more point is that we will have during the 4-hour session today, we will have 2 short breaks. And during of these breaks, we will have one questionnaire that we will send you the link in the chat, asking those who would like to participate with us to do that, because this will give us a lot of information for your understanding and your perspectives on road safety audits, and will help us to direct what kind of information to be presented in the next 2 days, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Based on these two, we can now start, and please allow me in the beginning to give the floor to Susanna Zamataro, who is kindly joining us, regardless of her very busy schedule, to give us a short presentation about the new decade of actions. Susanna, the floor is yours, and you can start.
Thank you very much, Rahel, and hello and welcome also on behalf of the International Road Federation to all of you. I have to say, every time we put up an announcement for courses on road safety audits, I'm always impressed by the number of people that sign up. Just for your information, we have right now 1,600 registered participants for this course. So as Bahel was saying, let's be a discipline. Please use the chat to really exchange in between yourself. These type of courses are also an opportunity to connect in between different experts from around the world, but make sure that you use question and answer function in your navigation bar to ask specific questions, especially to our lead trainer, Engineer Miguel Angel Santos, whom I really want to thank from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to really deliver this course on the top of his also busy agenda. He's doing quite a lot of work around those issues around the world, and right now I understand in Qatar more specifically. Our thanks as well to Professor Vahel. Well, I can't say how pleased we are for the friendship and the collaboration that we have with the Qatar Transportation and Traffic Safety Center of the University of Qatar, and it's a collaboration that we see growing, and we are happy to keep growing over the years. Without further ado, Bahel, maybe you stop sharing the screen. I have a very few slides to tell you a couple of just give you some hints on the new decade of action and the decade of action plan more specifically. Let me try to share my screen and see if that works. I hope you can see that well. Bahel, give me a sign. Perfect. And I apologize for my bad cold today. Let me start maybe first of all by saying a few words on the IRF. Maybe some of you are not familiar with our organization. Knowledge sharing and expertise sharing, like we're doing today, are one of the key strategic pillars of activities of the IRF, together with the networking, really bringing people, organizations, and businesses as well together. And on the top of that, also policy and advocacy work. We are a globally independent, not-for-profit organization, which was created 73 now, I believe, almost years ago. In 1948, we're based in Geneva, in Switzerland, but we operate all over the world, and we work very closely with the United Nations and have a ECOSOC status with the United Nations since 1951. Just to give you an example of the type of knowledge and expertise sharing and dissemination, of course, very happy of our collaboration with the Qatar University and the center. We also have collaborations with other universities around the world, technical committees within our federation, and a knowledge hub, which is called the Global Transport Knowledge Partnership, GTKP, which I invite you really to take a look at. It has completely been revamped this year, thanks to the support from the High Volume Transport Program funded by the UK. You will find in there a new hub with resources specifically about COVID-19 and transport, but as well another specific pillars that provides you lots of insights and useful information, access to documents when it comes to road safety. The GTKP hosts, in fact, some of the knowledge outputs which are produced within the United Nations Road Safety Collaboration Group. Data is also one of the core activities within the IRF. You might be familiar with the IRF World War Statistics that we produce since 58 years. 2021 edition, I should have updated this one, but the 2021 edition just came out. And thanks to the support of the Total Energy Foundation, all our data have now been digitalized and are available on a data, what we call the data warehouse. In terms of connections, just to give you a sense of how we connect people, businesses, countries, and organizations together on the screen, some of the key partners we work with around the world to foster and bring forward the transport and the roads agenda. When it comes to advocacy, and here I come back now to specifically the decade of action, of course, we work at international level, but as well national level. On the screen, a couple of the key processes through which we do advocacy work. UNRSC, the Sustainable Mobility for All initiative, which is led by the World Bank, our IRF Africa, and of course, now there's a lot of work around the next COP. Now, talking about more specifically the Decade of Action, as you know, the Decade of Action, a new Decade of Action has been launched and established with a resolution of the United Nations from August 2020. The new decade will run from this year till 2030. So we are aligning ourselves with the target that has been set and the timeline that has been set for the Sustainable Development Goals. The target fixed for the Decade of Actions is to reduce road traffic death and injuries by at least 50% in this decade. And Miguel will be able to give you some insights on, at least from the engineering part, of what we can do to make that happen and really try to get us closer, and why not reach that target, if not pass it. Now, know that beside the Decade of Action per se, the decade is underpinned as well by a global plan of action, which is basically that document that has to give some guidance to operationalize everything that is stated in the Decade of Action. Vahel just mentioned it, the global plan will be launched via a global online event to be hosted by the WHO on the 28th of October. We are considering this training as a way as well to create that momentum that will bring us to this official launch on the 28th. It doesn't mean that the work starts only on the 28th. The work has started already from January. For some of us, the work has never stopped. I don't think the size of this road safety pandemic, if I can use that word, allow us to sit down and relax. It's something that sees us fighting every day on the road. The global plan, of course, describes what is needed to achieve that the target, and has a specific call for governments and a lot more than governments to really embrace and integrate the safe system approach, the safe system thinking in doing that. Let me try to go fast. I broke it down into 3 slides, so you will see it's going to be pretty fast. It's just to give you a sense of what is in that plan, because the document is still not public. There's a strong focus again on this idea of the multimodal transport. And there's a new and very much welcomed also from our side attention to land use planning. So trying to think about the road safety in a much more proactive way and upstream, rather than just trying to fix down the problems down the road, in fact. So the focus will be there, and you will see that there's still, the 5 pillars are still there. So there's a strong focus on the importance of safe road infrastructure, the vehicles, safe road use, so the users, and the post-crash care response, which still remains central. But the document gives specific indication on how we should do that. So not only on what we should be focusing, but how are we going to do that. So in here, we will see that, you will see when the document comes out, that there's some innovation in that respect, while there's a specific focus on speed management, which is quite central. There's a renewed interest in bringing forward the importance of the adherence to the legal instruments that already exist. There's an attention also on the role of gender and how specific categories and also women are affected by road safety. We're looking at the importance of technology, and I think the document really stresses much more than before the importance to focus on low and middle income countries, which actually are those who bear the greatest numbers when it comes to road death and injuries. Who should do it? And I can tell you from behind the scenes, there was a lot of very, how can I say, excited conversation about the document, making sure that the document stresses that, yes, indeed, it's a responsibility of the governments, but at the same time, all of us, all the different stakeholders in this ecosystem have a role to play. So you will find in the document a clear part about the role that civil society can play, so the NGOs, the youth, and the academia. I'm very pleased to see in the document as well a specific call for the private sector and a recognition of the key role that the private sector plays when it comes to road safety. The funders, of course, because let's not forget that investments in road safety do remain a key issue, and the role of the United Nations and agencies in terms of the type of, as well, the type of coordination that they need to install in between themselves. When it comes to safe road infrastructure, and I'll be wrapping up this presentation fairly quickly, this idea, of course, of the multimodality, multimodal mobility is brought back into the picture. And so you will see it coming forward, specifically in the part dedicated to the safe road infrastructure. We have to plan the recommendation, of course, is very clear. We have to plan infrastructure so that it can really operate as a truly multimodal system, but also plan infrastructure in a way that minimizes the risk for all the road users and not just the drivers. So really a strong focus on the most vulnerable. The Decade of Action Plan has, amongst these annexes and draws a very tight connection with the UN voluntary targets for road safety. And on the screen, you have the two targets that specifically really deal with infrastructure. Target 3 and Target 4. If you follow IRF, you will see that we do a lot of work and a lot of our events around this famous Target 3 and Target 4. Target 3 is for all new roads. Basically, the target set for 2020 says that by 2030, all new roads should achieve technical standards for all road users that take into account road safety, or at least meet 3-star rating or better. Target number 4 is referring to existing roads. And so the target in here is that more than 75% of travel by 2030 should be on existing roads that meet technical standards for all road users and take into account road safety. When it comes to infrastructure safety and the Decade of Action Plan, you will find in the plan, and I'm just anticipating something that you will learn only at the end of the month, officially, that road safety, there's a specific recommendations to undertake road safety audits on all sections of new roads, and of course on the importance of having an independent and accredited experts to perform those audits. There's a central role for capacity building, and that is really stressed into the document that is coming out. Hence, we are extremely pleased to continue our work together with the Qatar University and the Center and others to build this capacity around the world when it comes to safer road infrastructure. I just want to close with 2 announcements. Know that next week is going to be a very, very busy week. The UN Sustainable Transport Conference is taking place in between the 14th and the 16th of October, together with all the colleagues within the United Nations Road Safety Collaboration, UNRSC. We are hosting a dedicated side event. It's on the 15th of October at 4:15 Geneva time, so Central European time. You will find all the information on the IRF website that you saw on my slides. I'll put it also on the chat. It's a free registration. Join us, because we will go through the 12 global voluntary targets and provide you with some guidance and some concrete examples together with the other colleagues. Road safety will be also central in the IRF annual conference that is taking place on 20 and 21st of October. The very first session of our annual conference will be dedicated to investing into road safety. And so we'll be talking about different things, including innovative finance for road safety. So there's an ongoing conversation about the possibility, for example, of creating road safety bonds. So come and join us. I'll also put that in the chat. It's a free registration, but make sure you secure your spot because a limited number of seats available. I think I'll stop here, and I thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to hearing Miguel today on this course. Thank you. Val, back to you.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you for the information, the overview of the new decade of actions. And I believe this is a very important issue and understanding of different experts in different countries to this new decade of action and what need to be done and what policies need to be implemented to improve road safety is very important. And I think we need another workshop, probably targeting only the new decade of action to understand well what needs to be done. And very promising targets have been put, and whether the world can work all effectively to achieve such targets is very important. And to do that, we need to have a good understanding and good knowledge and awareness about the plan itself. So maybe we can have another workshop because it's very interesting, and I think many people have many questions I can see on the chat about that. I received, before we move to Engineer Miguel, I received several comments about the slides and a video of the recording. The video of the recording will be shared through IRF website and on YouTube through social media tools. And this will be sent by email to all participants automatically later on after the end of this workshop on 3 days. Regarding the link for tomorrow and the day after tomorrow sessions, we will use the same link of today. So please, if you received, and for sure you received the link for today and you have joined us, use the same link to access this session, then tomorrow's session and the day after tomorrow's session. We will not be changing links. The same link can be accessed through the whole program in these 3 days. And this, I think, is easier for everyone to deal with. And if you lost the link for any reason, please just send us email and we will send it to you again. Regarding also comments about certificate, this very short workshop through these 3 days will not have any certificate. This is a kind of awareness program where we're trying to spread awareness about road safety audits and provide technical information that is usually not always available for everyone to know about road safety audits and the correct approach for implementing them and conducting them. That's what I can see from the comments so far. Now we move to Engineer Miguel, who will start our first technical presentation on this workshop by addressing concepts of road safety in general under the umbrella of safe systems. Miguel, the floor is yours. I will share your slides now. Just give me a sign and I will be always moving between slides.
No worry, Dr. Weil. Okay, hello everybody. First, before I start, I would like to say thank you to Qatar University, Dr. Weil and Susanna with IRF to allow me to present again something that hopefully is going to be interesting for all of you. Of course, all the information that you are having in here, you can find it. Okay, the World Bank, the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, the Asian Development Bank, they prepare guidelines that they are very useful, that they also prepare online training courses. So that is fantastic. So the thing that I did is compile all this kind of information, prepare one thing where you can conglomerate and you can see everything that they were talking in here. Also, I need to say thank you to three special people, that is Fanny Kalpakis, that he was working with me to produce this kind of presentation. Michael Darus, that he opened my eyes, you know, when I started to work here in the Middle East for different kind of approaches. And my dear friend and colleague, Javier López Delgado, that he's the current president of the Spanish Association of Road Safety Auditors, that he also contributes to this kind of presentation all around the world. Of course, my Wi-Fi, my family, my friends, that they support, and they give me a lot of support to do these kind of presentations and trainings. And notwithstanding all of this, I need to tell you that this is the first time, because I'm having problems where I am, that is the hotel tomorrow, hopefully I will be in another environment, that I'm not going to be using my own control of the slides. So Dr. Weil, thank you. Thank you for assisting me with this kind of tedious thing that is passing a slide for me. Hopefully, it's not going to detriment the way that I normally talk and give the presentation a nice rhythm. Okay, so without anything else, I would like to start with the introduction to road safety impact assessment, road safety audit, and road safety inspections. Okay. You see, now I will pass the slide. We need to bind the team a little bit, but we will do it. In the world, the road safety, as Susanna has said, I would call it too as a pandemic, not just COVID, okay? So Susanna has been very kind because she has explained what is the new decade of road safety actions that they are going to be taken on the world. I'm going to go a little bit back. I'm going to say the brutal reality about what has happened before, since 2011 that we started to have our first decade of road safety. And with that, after I will evolve to the place that what is road safety, the definition of that one, and later we will see what is the tools that we have to deliver this kind of road safety. There are many international agencies, you know, like the World Bank or the World Health Organization, that they dedicate themselves in order to help and be committed in road safety for developing countries, okay? So the thing that they are doing, there are many kind of different ways that they act, like the United Nations Road Safety Funds, or the Global State of Road Safety Report, or the World Report for Prevention and Injuries of Traffic Accidents. And in Latin America, you got other banks like the Ibero-American Development Bank, that they also take the approach for road safety audits and road safety inspection. Okay, so we can see a real concern about road safety all around the world. Okay. And Dr. Weil, do you prefer that I tell you pass, or are you with me? The United Nations, they deliver 5 pillars, you know, about the road safety. That's the one that Susanna was saying that we were acting in 2 and 3, the volunteer. Well, the pillars that you got in here is the road safety management is pillar number 1. The road safety, the safer transit and mobility routes, that is the pillar number 2, that is where infrastructure is allocated, the safer vehicles, safer users and transit routes, and the response after accident, because that is very important also in order that we can enhance the possibilities of someone that has an accident to be alive or not to suffer seriously injured. My presentation, or this presentation, is going to be around the pillar 2, the safer transit and mobility routes, okay? In that pillar, they say that we increase the intrinsic safety and quality of protection for the road networks in order that is going to benefit all the road users. Listen, all the road users. So the users of the network is not just the motorcyclists, the motor vehicles, no. It's just also pedestrians, it's cyclists, okay? So all these kind of things, they are going to be included in this pillar, okay? And we'll achieve this one through the implementation of different kind of infrastructure agreement that we have, okay? We will do road infrastructure assessment and we improve the road planning. Please understand that safety starts at the beginning of the road planning, okay? I have put this slide because for me it's brutal, okay? It gives you many data that we should be aware. if the people around the world, they are aware about this data, not just professionals, because most of you are going to be working in the same field that I'm working, okay? But if you know that 1.35 million died on the road, okay, every year, then you will be able to call this one as a pandemic, okay? Or that is the first cause of death among the young people, okay? Dr. Wael, if you pass to the next one, I will show them more clear all this data, okay? Because every 24 seconds, one person dies in a road accident, okay? So a part of all the life that is costing this to us, every single life has a value. We are like that. We are in this kind of world that we need to put value for the life that we got. So the economic cost, okay, in developing countries for this one is at least 100 billion per year. So what do we do in order to attack this one? Dr. Well, please. We started with the Moscow Declaration in 2009, okay? And in there, we set up our first decade of action, okay? That it went from 2011 to 2020. In there, our target, okay, it was reduction 50% death by 2020. It's familiar, eh? Susanna has just talked to you about what is the new decade, 21 to 2030, okay? And what is the target? Exactly the same, okay? In the past, in the Brazilian declaration of 2015, that it was the middle point of that one, we decided to create that one in order to see how the countries they were doing. So, because the countries, some of them they were acting and some of them they were not acting, with the Brazilian declaration, we say, hey, if you haven't done anything yet, you still got time until 2020. But all of this failed, okay? This is why we decided to start, well, or they decided to start a new road safety decade of action. Where are we at the moment? Well, we are with the Stockholm resolution in 2020, they recommended the second decade of action for road safety. That is going to have, again, a new target, okay, of reduction of 50% death toll. Stopping here one moment, Dr. Well. Do you realize that because everything failed between 2011 and 2020, we need to repeat the same kind of things between 2021 and 2030? Don't you feel that we have wasted 10 years? 10 years, not one, not two, 10 years, where people continue dying on the roads just because no one was able to implement something that it was thought in 2011. Here we are. And now we got the same kind of target again. Are we going to deal with that? Is it going to be feasible to do it? These are the kind of big questions that we need to do. And for that, you can continue, Dr. Well. For that, we have already recommended to every country, you know, that they need to adhere themselves to the Stockholm resolution, okay, in order that they can make initiative based on that one. They need to create road safety observatories. It can be the country ones, and it can be also the regional ones, okay? With that way, you will share information, and sharing information is paramount in order that this kind of knowledge is passed by and the people, they know how to react, okay? And of course, we need to have mandatory road safety components across the network, okay? Dr. Well? Okay, now we got in here the 12 targets that we have seen before that Susanna showed you, target 3 and target 4, okay? All these targets that we got in here, they were done in 2017, okay? So they were expecting that the decade was going to fail, so they prepared this one for the failure. And all these kind of targets, they are associated to one of the pillars that the United Nations created, okay? So the 3 and 4, as Susanna has described, is the one where road safety audits, road safety inspection, and road safety impact assessment, they come inside, okay? Please. Yep. So now, No, Dr. Well, don't go so fast, please. Let me leave it in there, please. So now let's ask ourselves, what is road safety? I would like to see if you know what is road safety, because people, they cannot define these kind of things. And for me, the definition that I learned from Michael, I really love it. Okay. Now you can go. Thank you. Road safety is going to be related to this formula. Okay. A lot of people will know this formula as the kinetic energy. Okay. So the way that we manage the kinetic energy in order to protect all road users from death or seriously injured is what we call road safety. Beautiful, associated to engineering, you know, it's a beautiful formula. And it's telling us that when we got a crash, okay, we got a transfer of energy. And that is the main thing that the safe system is going to have, okay? We will focus in reducing the trauma. We don't focus in reducing the crashes, no. The crashes, imagine that you are in a place where you got 20 crashes per year, okay? And of those 20 crashes, you got 5 people that they are dying and 10 seriously injured. After you do all your treatment for that place, you still got 20 crashes per year. And you say, well, nothing has happened. Yes, because now, instead of 5 people dying, you got maybe only 1 or maybe no one is dying in there. And instead of 10 people that they are seriously injured, maybe you got 1, 2, 5, but you reduce that one. When you reduce that one, you are doing your job properly, independently if the number of crashes is stays the same, okay? And we need to stop blaming the user, okay? The driver, yes, we know that is going to be guilty because of the human factors that we got in here for many things, okay? But not everything is their fault, okay? So instead of blaming, we need to start sharing responsibilities. Dr. Well, please. So the thing that we will do is to apply the safe system. And the safe system is very simple. In the center, as we got in here, we are going to have the human, okay, the human being. And the human being, it will be surrounded for 4 different kind of pillars, okay, that we got in there. It's going to be safe roads, safe vehicles, the principles, okay, the safe roads, safe vehicles, safe road users, and safe speed, okay. Above that, we will have the management. The managers in every single country need to adhere in order to do the safe system applicable in here. And also, we need to have also the post-crash response. Just remember about the gold hour that you got after an accident in order to increase the chances of the people to survive. Please, Dr. Well. So the principles that we are going to have in the safe system, they are very simple. We are humans, okay, and our body has limitations, okay. We cannot absorb all the kinetic energy that is going to be liberated in a crash, okay? So our body is not going to tolerate that one. This is why we need to learn how to manage this energy in order that we don't absorb everything. Some of them will go to the car, some of them will go to the road furniture, okay? We are trying to do that the minimum of that one pass on our bodies, okay? We need to forgive the human error. Just imagine you are a good driver or an average driver. Let's don't put the qualification of good, bad. No, average driver, okay? And you made a mistake. Come on, it's very expensive to pay with your life because you made one mistake, okay? So this is why we need to build things that they are going to forgive that we made a mistake. And we are human. We are going to have we are going to do mistakes, okay? It's in our nature, okay? Yeah, it's something that is inheriting ourselves. So we will do mistakes. The things that we need to try is not to pay with our lives that the mistake that we are doing, okay? We need to have a joint responsibility, okay? Every single part of the road, not of the road, of the road system work together. Road users, designers, people in maintenance, politicians, everyone they need to work together, okay? And we need to learn how to manage the road, okay? Please, Dr. Well. So, as I said, we will have 4 key elements in here. The speed, the vehicle, the road, and the user. Okay, the speed. Why we have the speed in here? Because in the kinetic energy is fundamental part, and also because it's elevated to the square. Okay, that means that it has an exponential reaction to whatever, an exponential contribution to the kinetic energy factor. That means that it's not the same. It's not going to be the same to crash at 70 kilometers per hour than at 30. Okay, the reduction, you know, of the energy that is going to be liberated is impressive. Okay, so we need to focus in these areas in order that we can have a holistic approach to the safe system. Please, Dr. Well. Okay, for the safe system, there will be also supporting areas, as I said. The first one is the management, the people that they are in charge of the national observatories, or the people that they are in charge of the roads in the country. They must be aware what we need to enforce, how we need to have our roads in order that they are forgiving the people for the mistake that they do. We have also a very important aspect that is the enforcement, okay? A lot of people, they consider that because they don't have any kind of enforcement on the road, you can have the jungle law. And here, the jungle law, we can say that is whoever has the bigger car has preference or priority to pass. And that is not good, okay? It's very important to have the collaboration of the police, you know, in order that they can enforce the laws that the management they are going to implement in order that the safe system is in place. And of course, this one, entry and exit, is very curious because in order to enter into the safe system, unless that you are a pedestrian, you should be able to pass a test, okay? That is going to give you the certification that you are allowed to enter in the system where everybody is certified, everybody has a driving license, and everybody can go, and everybody can follow the rules. So you need to have that kind of knowledge, okay? But the exit is also very important. The exit, knowing how to say, I cannot drive anymore, it can be hard. For me, it was heartbreaking last year because I talked to my dad and I recommend him not to continue driving. At the beginning, you know, there was a little bit of tension, but when I explained all the things that I have seen in his driving behavior, he understood, he followed my advice, and now he's super happy because he is not going to be able to live with an accident that is done by himself. Even you don't need to renew the driving license every 5 years. Just imagine that after the second year that you got that driving license, your reflex, your capabilities, they are dropping, you know, and you're still capable by this one to do it, but you know that you are not in your best in order to drive. And for driving, you must be as your best. Okay. Okay. So the safe system design principles that we got in here. There are 4 questions that I really like. These 4 questions. Okay. Normally they are related all with a kind or a different type of accident. Okay. When we are talking about crashes, and the question that we got for the design principle, this is to help the people how to improve their design. You can say that, okay, is it possible to have a head-on collision at 70 kilometers per hour or more? If the answer is yes, you should be changing, okay, your design in order that people, they don't have that chance to crash in a head-on collision at 70 kilometers or more. The other one that we have is when you are in a junction, you know, is it possible that you have a T-bone junction, a T-bone collision at 50 kilometers per hour or more? Again, if the answer is yes, we need to change our design in order to avoid that to happen. If you got, you know, hazards on the road, on the clear zone of the road, you know, that they are non-frangible, well, the question would be, can I crash with them that they are non-frangible, okay, at 40 kilometers per hour or more? If the answer is yes, we will be removing the hazard or relocating the hazard outside of the clear zone, or we will be protecting. But we need to remove the possibility that someone crash with this kind of hazard at 40 kilometers per hour or more, okay? Of course, the most important for vulnerable road users, okay? If can I crash or can I collide with a pedestrian or a cyclist at 30 kilometers per hour or more? Again, if the answer is yes, we need to find out the way that this question is answered no. Because meanwhile, any of these questions remain as a yes. Meanwhile, you are doing your design, you are going to be liable according to the safe system. Remember, all the disciplines, they must work together, okay? And designer has a very important part within the safe system approach, okay? So please, Dr. Weil. This is my favorite sentence. I say this every single time. Comply with the standards does not guarantee road safety, okay? Still nowadays, there are countries that they don't have a standard that they recognize road safety audits, road safety inspection, and these kind of things, and they consider that the standard they are so good that with them, they don't need to have this other approach. However, they are changing now. I'm talking about the states, okay? The states, they used to have the highway capacity manual, but now they got the highway safety manual, okay? Because they realized that with that design that they have only, it was not enough. So well done for them. Hopefully one day they will start doing road safety audits too, and we will welcome the feeling, okay? But there are many countries now around the world that they got different kind of standards, okay? If you click the next one, please. I have put in here just the slide with standards from different parts of the world. We got Qatar, Saudi Arabia, we got Australia. If you click, please. And we got the United Kingdom. No, go back, please. I like to put the United Kingdom as a reference because for me, they are the pioneers when we are talking about road safety audits, okay? They started in late 80s, and they were undertaking the same kind of approach that they were doing for the rail tracks. And that was a brilliant idea. And since then, they have been developing many, many standards. And this is why I put them the last one, because for me, they are still the best. Even now the safe system is not yet fully implemented in the system. They will change. They will change very soon for that kind of approach. Okay. So Dr. Well, please. The strategy, when we are talking about road safety, it can be divided in two different ways. Okay. The first one is, are we going to study an existing road, or are we going to study a new road? So the approach that we are doing with road safety audits, road safety inspections, and road safety impact assessment is an approach that we call preventive, before it happens, okay? Later, when we are studying the accident, or we do an accident reconstruction or accident analysis, this is a reactive way, okay, after that happens, okay? So what we are going to be doing is different kind of things for different kind of treatment that we need to allocate on the road. For example, if you click the next one, you will see that, Dr. Weil, if you click the, thank you. We need to have different kind of tools for different kind of phasing that we have in here. When we are planifying, okay, when we are planifying the road or the area that is going to be implemented, the new road or the new area that is going to be implemented, we will do our road safety impact study. We will have, you know, this kind of studies we will see later on, okay? When we are at the design phase, in every single phase, okay, we will undertake road safety audits. And when the road is in operation, we will do our road safety inspections, okay? Please, Dr. Well. So we have, as I said, different kind of tools for different kind of decisions that we have in the road safety world. We are going to study in here the road safety impact assessment, the road safety audits, and the road safety inspection. And Dr. Well, if you want, don't continue, because I'm going to start with this, but I prefer not to have any more breaks. So do your break now if you don't mind, and later I can continue with these ones. Hello? I don't know if someone is listening.
I think it will be difficult to continue for the next 3 hours without any break. If you are targeting to, is this till the end of the session today?
I can do as many. No, we can do. Okay,
so
let's do.
It's difficult to continue for 3 hours again without a break. I prefer that maybe you continue for another 30 minutes, then we can have one break if it is okay.
The problem is, Dr. Well, that I cannot manage myself the timing with this one. I prefer that you do the break that you need to do now for the questionnaire. Do that one, and let me try if I can do the presentation by myself, because seriously, I feel more comfortable if I got the fully control of the slides.
Okay.
Sorry,
so,
I'm not saying that you're not doing a good job. Okay, I'm not saying that you're not doing a good job.
Dear colleagues, so now we will have a break for 15 minutes, but please allow me, meanwhile, just to stop the share and to send you a link for a short questionnaire where we would like everyone to participate with. So please go to your chat icon in your screen and you will see everyone. So I'm sending now the link of the questionnaire to everyone in this webinar. I will send it several times. I hope that every one of you will receive it. So it has been sent now. So please fill this questionnaire. It is very short, around 10 to 11 questions. It will take a few minutes from you, and it will end quickly. And then we will come back at 1:15. Now it is 1 p.m. Doha time. We will come back after 15 minutes from now to continue our webinar with the road safety assessments and road safety audits and inspections. Thank you. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to send us on the chat bar or in the Q&A icon also. Thank you.
Vahel, in the meantime, maybe we can pass remote control to Miguel so that you will be sharing the slides and he can move the slides himself to help him.
Can I do that?
Yes.
We will try to do that, yes.
Oh,
yes. Try the function now while the participants are doing the questionnaires. And sadly to the participants, don't go away. It's you shouldn't be leaving the connection right now because we will be soon starting. We're just harvesting some information from you via the questionnaire that will help us in a study.
Miguel, can you control now, please?
Let me see. Let me see. Estoy controlando.
Now we come back. Yes, we come back now to continue our workshop today, and we will go ahead with the next part of this webinar, addressing road safety assessments and audits as well as inspections. Miguel, the floor is yours. You can continue, and if you need any assistance, we are always here to support you. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Well. Thank you very much. Sorry for all the technical details that I'm having before, but okay, my connection is bad. What can I do? Okay. And it's not working. It's not working. Okay, so let's see what is a road safety impact assessment. Let's start for the first of the tools that we have already described before. Okay. The road safety impact assessment, normally it is done at the planning stage, okay? It's going to be a strategic assessment for safety impact where we are going to have a new road or we're going to have a major modification of an existing road, okay? Remember, planning stage, okay? No designing yet, no, a planning stage. When we are thinking about what we are going to put in there, the earliest that we bring road safety into our thoughts, you know, the best is going to be road safety apply in that new development that we are doing or in that major modification that we need to do. We need to see and consider the impact of the scheme on the road network, okay? So it's going to be a wider approach than the road safety audit, okay? And we can assess the impact for different kind of groups. For example, pedestrian, cyclist, anything that motorcyclists, if you got any kind of motorcyclist group that they decided to ride on the road, if you got that one, that kind of things, okay? Dr. Well, this is not. Okay, in order to, Dr. Well, please, if you can continue doing your best with that one, because for me it's not working properly. So it's better that you continue doing the slide.
Don't worry, just to try to do it. If it's not coming with you, I will support you there. Just try
Thank
to
you, my
use
friend.
your welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, sorry for the technical problems again. The road safety impact assessment, it must be done or it must be performed at least for 2 independent experts as a minimum. Okay, we can always bring more people, but large number of professionals is always difficult to control. Okay, so minimum of 2 independent experts. Okay, that they are going to consider the different planning options, because it's not the same to allocate a city or a new development where you got the connection, interconnection from the city like linear, or if you are going to do it by different kind of spots, okay? You will need to do a cost-benefit analysis, okay? You will, is the only one where we are also trying to maximize the benefit according to the solutions that we are going to have in here, okay? And of course, all of this, all our discoveries, all our findings, we are going to pass to the project design manager in order that he has the last word to see how this is going to be affecting the planification that they are having, okay? So, for the road safety impact assessment, okay, we need to do site visits. But not only for that, it's going to be done for every single tool that we have, okay? Like the road safety audit or road safety inspection that we will see later. There are different kind of site visits that we will be undertaking. But for this one, it needs to be our initial planning that we got. It will be reviewed through all the design phases that we're going to have, okay? We're going to have, and we are going to ask for at least 5 years collision data. Well, I say at least, but some countries, they don't have all the records for the last 5 years. They got only 3 years, okay? Whatever is available. Every country is going to have their own idiosyncrasy, okay? And we need to count with that when we are asking for different kind of information, okay? We need to see what is going to be the main role that vulnerable road users they are going to have in here, okay? It's not the same to design or planify the industrial area, okay, of a city, that residential area. So we need to adjust the needs for vulnerable users, okay, to the planification that we are having. They are going to have also a road safety input, very important, okay? And of course, we cannot forget about the vulnerable road user wherever we are. Even if it's an industrial area that we are not expecting too many vulnerable road users, they are going to be the most safety considerations, because they are going to have the biggest problem if they are struck by any kind of vehicle, okay? Well, when we got the road safety impact assessment done, we need to elaborate a report, as I said, that we will go to the project manager for his approval. Okay, so our process, in order to elaborate it, is going to say the objectives, okay, the road safety objectives that we need to be very clearly defined, okay, in this kind of report. We are going to be assessing, okay, the safety impact on the existing road network, okay. Any tool, any consideration that we are taking outside of the road network is not going to be valid or is not going to be replicated, okay. We cannot do copy paste from different areas of different reports because each area, it needs to be studied in isolation, okay. We need to study different options, okay. Do in 5 years, do in 10 years, do with this kind of money, with this funding that we have, even do nothing. The do nothing scenario needs to be assessed. We need to see how that kind of area is going to be done if we don't do anything inside, okay? We need to analyze all the options, okay, for the road safety impact. And we need to present all the possible solutions that we engineers or people that we are dedicated to road safety are going to be able to provide, okay? So as I said, this is the road safety impact assessment for the planification. Now, what is a road safety audit? Well, there are different ways to define a road safety audit, okay? My favorite one is the one from Armstrong Road, that is a formal examination, okay, of a future road or traffic project or an existing road in which an independent and qualified team reports on project crash, potential, and safety performance. Listen, because I have put in bold the things that I consider this definition is bringing to us, okay? It's a formal examination. So it's not a matter of opinion or random checking that we do. No. Formal examination, okay? So there must be parameters, there must be a standard, there must be guidelines in order that they instruct you how to perform these kind of things, okay? And they say the word independent and qualified team. Independent, yes, of course. If I'm doing the road safety audit of a project, I cannot be involved in the design of that project. I cannot be involved either in the construction of that project. So I must be an independent auditor in the way that I can make all my comments without any kind of pressure of stress from the parties that they are elaborating and they are performing, that they are doing this project, okay? Well, as I said, it's going to be a process where we are checking, you know, the road infrastructure that is require an independent design team, that it have been done by an independent design team. So the people that they are conducting this design, okay, cannot be involved in any case with the road safety audit. In fact, there will be communication between the road safety auditors and the design team, but needs to be registered, every single thing, in order that the road safety auditor doesn't compromise his position and become a designer, okay? So we are going to try to minimize the risk and the severity of the crashes in every single new project, okay? So a road safety audit is also well defined for what is not. And whatever is not a check of the scheme, of the standards that has been constructed, okay? It's not a technical check because we are not there to see if the engineers, they have done a good job or they haven't done a good job, if they have followed the standard or not, because we suppose that they have done it properly. We suppose that we are all professionals, okay? We need to see beyond the standard, okay? This HD 1915 that I have put in here is because in there they define what is not a road safety audit, okay? But now the standard that we got is the version 2 of the GG119 in the UK. Okay, so as I said, independence is critical. If you're not independent, you cannot do any road safety audit. Okay, we need to check the safety of the road under every single condition. I always say that if you got the opportunity to go to a road when you got a very bad rain or when you got a very bad wind, you know, the weather conditions, they are changing. It's much better that if you go in a sunny day and you enjoy the trip that you are doing, because the road may behave in a different way depending on the weather condition, okay? And you will perceive the risk that they are associated to those kind of weather conditions that in other situations you are not going to be able to perceive, okay? So when we do our report, we need to focus in our vulnerable road users. The same that we had in the impact assessment, exactly the same in the road safety impact assessment, focus in the vulnerable road user. The road safety audit, they will focus in every single user, but most in the vulnerable road users, okay? So at the end, the report will be submitted to the design team, okay? And they will have a certain list of identified problems that we have done, where we are going to be able to discuss with them what is going to be our way forward, okay? So now the question is, why are we undertaking road safety audits? Well, it's clear because we're going to mitigate the chance that accident happens, okay? If we don't mitigate the chance of accident happens, we will mitigate the consequences of those accidents, okay? And we want to create road safety consciousness, okay? That is something that is very important in order that the people that they are using the road, or the people that they are designing the road, or the people that they are managing the operations of the road, they realize what we are doing according to road safety. And if you see, I'm not saying only the road users, I'm putting every single one that is related to the road. As we said, the safe system is coming for every single discipline, okay? Undertaking road safety audits is going to reduce drastically the cost of the project. That is something that we will see later on. That is not a problem, okay? So how are we going to undertake a road safety audit? Well, first, we need to define the scope of the road safety audit, okay? What is going to be audited and what is not going to be audited? What kind of project they require a road safety audit, or if a project requires a road safety audit, why is it going to be done or not, or is exempted for any kind of reason? So we need to set up our scope, okay? And we need to set up also the road safety audit brief. The audit brief is a document that the designer should provide us, the designer, the contractor, whoever is in charge of that one, whoever is telling you that you need to do a road safety audit, he needs to provide you this kind of information with all the details, as much detail as details as they give you regarding the location of the road, what is happening on the road, what kind of development you got, who is the local authority, who is going to be responsible engineer for that one, what kind of things they are expecting you to see. So this kind of audit brief normally is given and is the main piece of information that the auditor will receive, independently of the stage that you are, okay? So with this, the authority, the project sponsor, will agree or have agreed in advance about the audit team. We will see later the characteristic of the audit team, okay? And the audit team will prepare a road safety report, okay? The road safety audit report. In that report, as I said, we will find problems and recommendations, okay? All of this is going to be done on the stages of the road safety audit. There are different kind of stages, different kind of countries. We will see that in a minute too. And of course, the road safety audit, it cannot be done if you don't undertake a roadside visit, Okay, the road safety audit requires site visits, even if it's in the feasibility study that there is nothing in there. Okay, it's compulsory to have that one. There are different ways. There are different ways for undertaking site visits, and during this pandemic, we have been road safety auditors, we have been very restricted and limited at the time to do the road safety audits. So some authorities, they were allowing us just to travel in different days, you know, the road safety auditors, or using, you know, tools like Google that I don't like a lot because normally the information is not very good or is not up to date, as if it was something that it was going to be stage 1, 2, or 3. But if it was the other ones, you need to do it in different cards. So there has been certain restrictions that they have been eased now, and we can go and work as we used to do. The audit team, the audit team. The audit team, it has different kind of conditions in every single country that you are going to do road safety audits. But there are common things for all of them. The audit team must be trained, okay? And they must be independent, okay? The audit team must be multidisciplinary and needs to be objective and impartial. Okay, now we can debate and we can say what is the minimum qualification that the audit team leader, the audit team member, or the audit observer, or the specialist, they must have, okay? Because the audit team, as I had just said, is divided in this kind of 4 categories: team leaders, team member, observer, and specialist, okay? The team leader, we know, and the thing that we use in different kind of associations like ASEBI or SORSA, that we follow the English model, we need to do a 10 days training course just to have a 1 year of 1 year of experience about crash investigation or road safety engineering, okay? And you need to have your CPD, continuous professional development. That is what we do in order that you become observer. After 2 years of that, and continue with your professional development and continue with a number of audits that they are required, it can be 5 in 1 year or in 2 years, it can be 5, it can be 10, whatever country you are, it can be 8, depending on which organization or which country you are visiting. This kind of rules, they are going to set up in different way, but in different numbers, but the rules, they are the same. So they are telling you that you must have experience. You must be exposed to the road. You must write road safety audits in order that you understand what you are saying. So you start collaborating and you start being a team member, okay? And when you gain a lot of experience, it can be 4 years, it can be 10 years for some people. People in the European Investment Bank, they're asking for 15 years experience just to become team leader. So depending on where you are, when you have accumulated and gained experience, you know, in the field, and you have been doing your continuous professional development every year in order that you keep up to date with the last things that they happen in the world for road safety, well, they call you team leader, okay? And that is the one that is the responsible to organize the audit team. The audit team must have a minimum of 2, okay? These are the team leader and the team member. But it's not limited to 2, okay? Because there will be moments where you will require to have a specialist in things that you are not an expert. Imagine if I need to do a road safety audit for a traffic signal control, and I want someone that knows exactly how the traffic signal is programmed in order that they can check and give me advice about that one, okay? Or imagine that I'm doing a road safety audit on a bridge and I'm not a specialist in structures. So I will call a structural engineer in order that he can help me with this road safety audit, okay? Observer is a key word of the audit team. You don't need to have, or you shouldn't have, more than 2 observers in a road safety audit, but they are going to appreciate a lot that they are in there because they are starting their career in road safety auditing, and they need to be with people that they can advise them, and they can do like the owl, you know, just to see and listen, but they are not going to be talking. The only thing is for them to start feeling, you know, what is a road safety audit and how you perform the duties of a road safety auditor. So you must remember that you don't finish your training course, that it can be many different training courses, but the one that we got in the GG119 or in Qatar or in Saudi, you got a 10 days training course that is broadly acceptable. Okay, in the United Nations is also the same kind of training course that they were doing. Well, remember that when you finish your training course, you don't come and you are out of that training course as a team leader, road safety auditor. Impossible. And I know that there are people that they say that they are team leaders when they haven't done a proper, they haven't faced the problems of being a team member first or our observer earlier than that. The training course is just the foundation, okay? The training course is something that is going to give you the knowledge that you don't have. But after that, you need time to settle that knowledge, okay? You need time to understand the things that they were said on the training course. This is why you build your capabilities with time, and you cannot be directly a team leader after you finish your training course. You need time to settle, and you need time to gain your experience, okay? There are different kind of associations around the world. I'm very lucky that I belong to SORSA and I belong to ASEBI, and I'm super happy, you know. But these are the associations that they are going to keep you updated. They are going to recognize that you have a valuable input in road safety. Because if you are a member of any professional association like these ones, they are like the granted association for your quality as an auditor. If you don't comply with the rules and regulations, you are not going to be able to enter there, okay? So they are quite strict to accept the people. But when you are in, that is not the most difficult part. You will realize that the difficult part is to stay in, is to continue performing your activities and duties up to their standards, okay? So yeah, that is a very important part of the road safety auditing process too. Okay. For now, I'm going to talk about the road safety audit stages. How many stages can we find in a road safety audit? Well, depends. We're going to find different kind of stages like in here, the one that I have put, that you got the stage 1 concept, stage 2 preliminary, stage 3 detail. That means that you can combine 2 and 3 if the project is not very good, it's not very small, it's not very big. Stage 4 construction, stage 5 post-construction, stage 6 existing road safety inspection, and later you got the interim, the thematic, the work zones, okay? So very distinctive, different kind of stages. Oh, but in my country, we got 4 stages. Perfect. It doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that you follow your formal checking way for doing that. The process that you are following is going to be consistent, you know? So you got 1, 4, or 22 different stages. It doesn't matter. You will define them in your standards, okay? Ideally, we should have all road safety auditors in the world the same kind of guidance, the same kind of standard, the same kind of process to follow, to unify criteria, okay? This is why it's very important that the different associations of road safety auditors in the world, they come across different kind of things and get the support of the United Nations or the Federation International Automobilism in order that we can have a beautiful unified standard, in order that we have common ground of knowledge, okay? But believe me, if you don't have a stage 1 concept and a stage 2 preliminary, and you combine the stage 1 and 2 and you call it feasibility, it's okay. It's okay. Depending when you are working, you need to adapt. But remember, the road safety auditing is a philosophy. Okay, so it's not a problem the way that you call this one. Call it tomato if you want. Okay, stage tomato. It doesn't matter. The thing that they want to see is that you follow the process. Okay, so what have we got in here? Well, we got the stage for concept. Okay, in there we are going to see the planning for the area. Okay, and we're going to see what is going to be the interaction that we have with all the road, the adjacent road network. Okay, we are going to assess and we're going to understand what is going to be the land use, because maybe in the future we're going to have potential residential uses that they're going to be in conflict with industrial, or they're going to have focal points like a supermarket or a school or a hospital. Okay, we are going to see the traffic estimation during this stage. Okay, is where we are going to define what kind of roads we are going to put inside. Collector roads, arterial, are going to have local roads, or is going to be rural road. So this kind of a stage is very crucial to take big changes about the physiognomy that we are planning. Okay, we are going to decide in here, very important, the type of junction. Just imagine that you are saying, oh no, very good, very good. We are going to put in here runabout. And when you are in the detailed design that everybody has been planning for a runabout, you say, no. Runabout is not going to be good. I want a grade separated. Come on, you cannot say that at this stage. It's too late already. At that stage, the only thing that you will mitigate whatever is happening in there. But this is the stage where you are going to be thinking about the typology of the junctions that you're going to have. How are we going to be treating the special places? You know, the community center, the schools, the hospital, the pedestrian areas that we have. We need to know how to access there. Emergency, okay? That is going to be the emergency first plan, the emergency plan, the first one that we're going to have for this area too. So it's our first approach to the concept design, okay? So when we go that one, we need to ask ourselves, okay, it's concept design. Why do we need to do a road safety audit when we are just in concept, that we haven't put anything formal is designed yet? Okay, because we need to be assured that road safety is included in the decision. Many times it's happening to me that I'm not even called for meetings where I know that they are trying to do, for example, a war song, you know, they are preparing a war song, and nobody, no representative from the road safety section is there. How can you? Okay, so road safety must be included in order that they are taking decisions with us. I don't say that road safety is the last one taking the decision. That would be ideal, but that is in the ideal world, not in the reality. But I say that at least they should listen us, okay? Because when they call us, it's because it's too late. They are having already problems, okay? Bring the road safety at the beginning, as I said before, okay? And here it's possible to change things without any cost. Okay, the cost implication is nil or nothing. Okay, and we can avoid the problems that we can have in the design. So we can say, okay, how is that possible that you have put a road in here or a cycle path that finish on a wall, or you are not giving continuity, or for the road marking, sorry, for the road exit of the runabout, you're not giving continuation. So that kind of obvious mistakes that it can happen at the beginning of the design phase, it's very easy to define, to find, and to correct them, okay? Of course, it's our first approach for the safety for all users, okay? Just remember that the right of way of a road is shared by many road users, okay? So we need to start bringing road safety, the sooner the better, okay? With the stage 2, the stage 2 is the preliminary design. In here, we know what we are going to be doing in here. Well, we are going to do the design speed. We are going to choose what is going to be the design speed. fantastic design speed that later people, they decided to convert in the posted speed, and later we got the operational speed. But that is another matter that I really would like to talk at some point. The design speed is important because according to that one, the contractor, they will try to cheat, using design speed in order that they can allocate things or features that they are not going to be the right ones for the road. But it's okay. We will go that later on. In here in preliminary, we're going to see our geometry, the vertical alignment, the horizontal alignment, the way that they concur horizontal and vertical alignment is very important, just to avoid things like when you are having a crest, after that one, you put a bend and you cannot see the road the way that is going to be. So the variations in geometry now is when we need to do it, not when it's built, okay? If we got any kind of constraint when we are talking about the visibility, the stop inside distance, okay, is there because you have done the site visit, okay, and they have provided you with this, okay, they are giving you the road that is going to be planified. Is there any obstacles in there? You have been there and you're like, come on, how are they going to remove that house? Have they got that one? No, we don't have more land acquisition, so that is going to be a problem. Or the bend, if you are having a sharp bend that it hasn't got any kind of visibility after that, because in one of the lateral side they cannot maintain with the visibility distance that they need to have, okay, the clear zone that they need to have for that one. We will know in here how many infrastructure and what type of infrastructure we're going to have, if we're going to have any underpass, any tunnel, any bridge, okay, that is going to come in here. Very important to assess those independently. Of course, you are going to assess that as a whole road, but make a special deal with the structure itself, okay? The public transport. We need to know which are going to be the routes, what kind of public transport. Are we going to have LRT? Are we going to have buses? Are we going to have metro? So everything, we should know what is going to be the significant approach for public transport that we are having in this area, okay? Public transport, and of course, if you are using the metro, is it there any kind of bicycle facilities to go there, any pedestrian crossing in the vicinity? All this kind of stuff is related. So multimodal transport, that you are coming by coach from the outskirts of the city and they bring you directly to the metro, or you are coming by bicycle and you need to use the bus station, all this kind of stuff need to be into consideration in this preliminary one, okay? The number of lanes, of course, number of lanes, hard shoulder that we have, the width of the lanes, all of that is coming, in accordance with the volume traffic that we're going to. Before, in the previous one, we already saw what is going to be the traffic volume. Well, now we are designing in accordance with the traffic volume that we had before, okay? And of course, the typology of the junction. We need to confirm that the one that we have chosen before in the concept stage is the one that we want to continue the process. Because if we have any doubt, now is the time. Before you start doing the detailed design, now is the time to change it, okay? And number 4, why do we need to do a road safety audit at this stage? We have done already the concept. Why do we need to do a preliminary one? Well, maybe you haven't done the concept. Maybe this is your first stage, the first audit that this project is going to have. So if this is the first one, or nobody has been checking or overlooked the concept one, well, we start in preliminary. It's not too late to start, okay? We don't want to have any kind of delay when we are doing the detailed design. Ask any designer. Ask any designer if they got any kind of problems, if you delay because you haven't done. No. They, as soon as they are starting the design, they don't want anything to be changed. They just want a smooth flow, and with that smooth flow, they will be working without interruption. So this is important, that if you want to avoid any kind of delay, okay, do the road safety audit at this stage. Okay, in order to check a standard are going beyond them. When I said that we don't check a standard, that we go beyond them, it's because the standard is the minimum. And sometimes the designers, as a technique, I have been a designer and I have used this one also, we try to justify departures, okay, for whatever reason. We don't want to have a land acquisition, or we consider that we need something else in here. So we try to justify departure. Departure, remember, needs to be approved, okay? And is not in accordance with the standard. It's a departure. So that means that your standard at that point is going to make you a weak point. Later you will have mitigation and this kind of stuff, but it's not the design that it should be, okay? So ask a contractor or a designer, what does he prefer? To go beyond the standard, that means that if you need to do a radius of 300, go for a radius of 500, that needs more extension of the bend. Or if he prefers to go for 250, applying for a departure. You will be surprised with the answer, okay? Yeah, a lot of people, they will tell me, yes, if you go beyond the standard, it's going to be more expensive. Of course, it's going to be more expensive, but nobody is telling you that you cannot go beyond the standard. The standard is a minimum, is the minimum for that road to be transit, okay? Just like that, remember that one. And again, we will bring road safety for all users, again, okay? Not just the first approach that we have seen before. Okay. Our stage 3, the detailed design. This, for me, is the most important one of all the stages. It doesn't matter if it's stage 3 or stage 2 or whatever. It's detailed design. Whatever we do, okay, in here, later is going to be built. Think about that, okay? In here, we're going to have the final geometry, okay? And in here is where we're going to put the vertical signs, the horizontal road markings, the vehicle restraint system, all the barriers, the safety barriers is going to be here, illumination, drainage, curbs, okay, curbs. I say this because curbs can be fundamental also for road safety. What kind of road furniture? Beautification that we are going to have all around, okay? What is going to be what we got on the edge of the road? Are we giving the clear zone with no hazards or with frangible furniture, okay? How are we protecting, if needed, the pedestrian and the cyclist? All of this, okay, is coming together to a whole. Is when the project is having the final shape, the safety that we need to apply on the junctions, okay? And of course, we need to include in here all the departures for standard that they have been associated to this project. So realize that is our result, our product, the first one, the last one that we are going to have before we start building, okay? So if it's the last one that we are having before we start building, okay, why do we need to do a road safety audit in here? Well, the most important thing is the last chance that we have to make change before construction. I'm saying this because I'm pretty sure all of you is going to know this, but what is cheaper and easier to do? Delete a line on an AutoCAD drawing or remove a curve that we have already built on site. Okay? For things like that is why we need to understand this. We need to undertake this. Very important, and for me, is the most important one. If I need to choose any stage audit that I cannot miss ever, in order for me to do it in an appropriate from the one stage that I cannot miss from the one that we have in planning, like the concept, preliminary, and detailed design, it will be this one. The other two, if you have missed them, this is your last chance before it's built, okay? So it's very important to undertake the detailed design road safety audit. Later, when we are talking about construction, we will see that is required also to do it. Another one that it will be, I'm going to tell you exactly the same kind of question. But for this kind of concept, preliminary and detailed design, this is the most important one. This is the one that we cannot miss. Okay? Good. What is the next one that we have? Construction. Our construction, we start doing that. And we need to verify that all the changes that we have asked in the previous road safety audit, they are done. It's not the first time that this happened to me, that I have done the feasibility study or the concept of preliminary. I say some things that they needed to change. When they go to detailed design, I realize that I haven't changed that one. So we leave that open. We continue. We find more things in the detailed design that they need to change. And oh surprise, when you are going on site, they are building the old project, the first project that they have at the beginning, with no references to the audit that we have done before. How come? So what is my job? What is my work done? I cannot accept this kind of mistakes. Okay? And this is very common when we are having the design and builds projects. Okay, before we used to have this kind of timing that you start thinking about the project, the concept, preliminary, you do your project, you pass it on to construction. No. Nowadays, most of the projects that I have been involved lately, all of them, they are design and build. So they start building at the same time that they are doing the design. So if something in the design is wrong, you can find that they have already built. And you say, but why did you build, you idiot? That is not good. So you need to remove it. And they tell, no, we have built it already. Now you need to mitigate. Why are we doing things in such a rush? Okay. Because if you rush, you're not going to have full potential of the road safety changes that you must do. Okay. So this is important. If we're in a normal project with the phasing that I'm saying, not design and build, for example, you need to verify that all the changes they have been tracked, for previous road safety, they are implemented. So they got the last copy of the design that they needed to have in there. Okay. You need to see and check what is the perception of the users about the project. What messages are sending to the project. Okay. What messages are sending to them. You need to see if the project is accepted or not. There will be associations that they will tell you, no, I don't like that you put this in here, or neighborhood that they are going to put a road close to them. So you need to see what is the perception of the one when they are building. Okay. You need to do the site visit. Okay. In all direction and all conditions for all road safety users. As I said, the site visit, we will see it later, but depending on the stage that you are, the site visit must be taken in a different kind of condition. For example, for preliminary concept and detailed design, you will be doing a daylight site visit, okay? Just to be informative with the area that you are going to be designing on. However, when we are talking about construction, okay, you will be doing the roadside visit during the day and during the night. And as I said, if you do it during the day, during the night, and when it's raining or when it's snowing, even better. It will give you a better approach how this is going to be, the weather conditions that are going to be affecting your road, okay? And of course, we need to check the illumination during the hours of darkness. It's not the first time that they tell you, oh, fantastic, contractor, I already have put all the lights, but do they work? No, we haven't connected yet. So how I'm going to assess if the illumination is right or not? If you haven't, oh, no, all of them is perfectly connected. Yeah, but I need to believe you. If I receive just €1 for everyone that is telling me like that, I wouldn't need to play yesterday Euro Millions just to be millionaire with the money that I was going to receive. But it's okay. So after construction, again, same question that before. I like this question a lot. Why do we do a road safety audit at this stage? Okay. Well, if the detailed design hasn't been done, okay, or has been overlooked or forgotten, that would be a serious mistake, because the detailed design one is the one that is a must. you must do that, okay? But it can happen that this is the first audit that you do. That is the first audit that the road is going to have. Don't ask me why, but I realize that sometimes it's the truth. Nobody has checked the previous stages, and when they are building it is when they call you to do the road safety audit, okay? Check that it's built as per design, per the latest design, okay? Not per the design that they have at the beginning, per the latest modification, okay? That it could be sorting all the problems or they haven't been seen anticipated on the drawings that we have. Check the visibility and the operation during the hours of darkness, okay? And very important, check the road markings and vertical sign. Oh, no, I cannot do that. Why? Because it's sad, but it's the truth. Road markings and signs, vertical signs, is the last thing that they put in the construction. And sometimes where they save money is in there. So they are missing the functionality of road markings and road signs. That is the language that the road used to communicate with us. If you don't put those, the road is not going to be able to tell us the way that we need to negotiate it. And I'm saying this because sometimes the roads are open before they are fully finished, okay? So they should be open in a temporary manner with temporary signs, okay? But just tell me, how is possible to put a temporary sign of 80 kilometers per hour on a 5 lanes motorway? You put 80, straight alignment, 5 lanes motorway, and you know who's the only one that is complying with that speed? Myself, because I'm doing the road safety audit, okay? So we need to be careful and consideration for the road markings and the vertical sign, that they are very useful, okay? These are the using this in appropriate manner, it gives you a humongous first year return rate when we are talking about the cost. We will see that tomorrow if everything goes all right. Of course, during the construction, I put this, you know, a little bit bigger font than before because it's safety for all users. Now it's serious, okay? It's the construction stage. Our stage 5 is when we had just open to the traffic. The previous one, the construction, is when it's finished, but it's not open to the traffic. Okay, but now it's open to the traffic and we need to monitor how our design has been done, okay? So we monitor at 12 months, 24 or 36, or when we start having a trend of accident, because you can open the road and after a week, you can start having accident in one point and you need to start monitoring that, okay, to see what is happening, okay? So this is going to be very much related to the operation and maintenance of this project that we have in here, okay? Why do we do the road safety audits at this stage? Well, to promote and maintain safer roads network. It's very unusual that in a project, when you are doing the detailed design project, the people present you everything and they present you also the maintenance plan for all the things and all the furniture and all the VRS that they are having there. They put for you the kind of VRS that they are using, the level of containment, everything. But they don't tell you how to maintain that one, okay? They don't tell you if you are going to require short-term mobility or mobile works to do that, or if you need to close one lane for more time. So that kind of things is something that we need to, if we haven't seen it in the detailed design, we need to be sure that it appears here in the post-construction when we are monitoring, okay? We need to check if there is any kind of threat of accident, because maybe we are going to start having black spot. Sorry, because now this was done before I was advised that you cannot call it black spot anymore. You need to call it hot spot. I'm sorry, I was educated as black spot, but now It's not good, so I need to use the word hotspot. Sorry for that. And of course, you need to check the operation and maintenance of the project. At the end, it's going to be the misuse of the road, the way that the misuse of the road for operation and maintenance, what is going to create more problems, okay? Again, safety for all users that we got in here. Dr. Well, if you want 5 minutes, I can continue this in a minute because he told me that I cannot continue talking 3 hours. So you can have 5 minutes break now.
I think we will have another 15 minutes break. You like to have more 5 minutes, or it's okay to stop here? Up to you.
No, this is why I'm saying we can stop in here, and they can have the break now, and later I continue, because in here it's a good place. It's a good place to stop.
Okay, thank you. Dear participants, we will stop here for 15 minutes. I will share again the link for, let me stop sharing. Okay, we will share again the link for the questionnaire for those who did not participate yet. I will be very thankful if you can fill the questionnaire again on the following link. I will send it immediately now to everyone on the chat bar. So this is the link for the questionnaire we're having. Please, if you did not fill it, do it now, and we will come back after 15 minutes at 2:25 p.m. Doha time. Thank you.
No, not coming.
Okay, so I will control. Just let me know how to move. Okay.
All right.
Okay, but just before we move forward, I have some questions, summarized questions from what colleagues and participants have raised in the.
Okay, good. Let's do a break, a longer break for them, because I know that I can be talking hours and hours and hours, and you need to stop me every single time. So no problem. Let's see if I can answer any question.
Yes, the first question is regarding crash data. So to do a proper road safety audits, basically we need to have a crash data to be available for that. So the question, if crash data is difficult to be obtained, how road safety auditors can base some of their evaluations on safety risks?
Okay, yes, I have found places all over the world, you know, when you are in developing countries, that they don't have available the crash data. So it's a big issue because you don't have the real picture of what you are going to be assessing in there. So seriously, I'm not going to tell you that you can do suppositions. I'm not going to tell you that you can invent whatever you got in there. If you got the data, good. If you don't got the data, you need to find a way to do your work without that kind of data. That means you need to go to hospitals and try to ask for hospital records that they will have when they are coming for different kind of accident that they got on the road. So maybe it's non-official, but it will give you a vision about what is happening on the road. Okay, that is what I suggest, that you visit hospitals and they will tell you about without, of course, not, I don't want any kind of confidential information about names. No, just if they are involved and they can tell you, okay, in the traumatology section, they can tell you about the patients that they got every day, or how they have this issue, how many are coming from accident, if they got any. That is the kind of approach that I would do if you don't have appropriate crash accident data.
Great. The second question is actually been raised by several participants, is regarding the road safety audits in the preliminary or in the design stage or in the concept stage. We all know that some auditors, and based on the current requirements, they might not be with an engineering background or road design background. So they might propose treatments or raise some issues that is not accepted by the design team. And if the design team rejected to implement some of the suggestions proposed by the road safety auditors, then who should take the responsibility and what actions should be taken? And how such kind of issues being resolved?
Okay, that's very simple. That is not a problem. Okay. The road safety auditor cannot impose whatever solution they consider for the road, even though I have been involved in road safety audits where recommendations, they were not compulsory for me to give it to them. So that happens that you are so kind that you give them what is your vision, what is the thing that they should be doing, okay? And if they don't want to accept, is the authority responsible or the owner of the road who is responsible to impose the designer or the contractor the measures that they need to take into consideration. I mean with that, imagine that we say that is required to change the curve that they got, for a high protective curve, a high containment curve like the 3F curve. That's the thing that they say, the auditor, they say something like that. And the designer said that no, that they're not going to be using that because they consider that there is not such a risk. They don't accept the risk that we are proposing, because it's important that when we are having this kind of meeting, the close-up meeting, okay, the designer must accept the risk, not the comment from the road safety auditor, must accept the risk that they are on the road, okay? So if the designer doesn't accept the risk, the ball passes to the owner of the road, the authority that owns the road. And the authority should say, okay, I consider that that risk exists, or I consider that that risk does not exist. If he considers that the risk exists, he must ask for a solution to the designer or the contractor, okay? If he considers that that risk, it can be mitigated easily and doesn't exist, or he hasn't considered that that risk exists, then that is going to be to be superseded, okay? But it's not the mission of the auditor to choose what is the solution that you are going to be doing. It's a mission of the designer or it's a mission of the contractor. The auditor only exposes the risk and is so kind that gives you an idea. But the designer knows more than the auditor about the road that they are designing. So maybe my idea is not good for them because they got another idea to solve the problem that we have found. I don't know if I have answered.
Yes, you are correct. I think it is you directly answered. So basically, whatever proposed solution by auditors, the auditors may raise the safety risks and may propose some treatments, but road designers, usually they should address the risk, and whether they use the proposed solution by the auditor or they identify better solution, it's up to them, but they should mitigate and address the risk raised by auditors.
Yep.
Am I right?
Exactly.
Okay.
I wouldn't say better. In fact, you have said that more brief than me and better than me. This is why you're in the university and I'm just a normal engineer.
No, thank you, Miguel.
It's okay, it's okay, my friend.
The other point raised also is regarding how road safety audits, so we'll take the last two questions actually. One of them is regarding how road safety audits are relevant to developing countries and how this experience can be moved to improve road safety in developing countries. And this is very important, I think, because we need to understand what is road safety audit. It's a philosophy. The road safety audit is a kind of preventive measure so that we make sure that all our newly developed roads or general developments, they have been audited for safety to make sure that any risks being raised during in the design is being addressed. Not only that, but also for existing roads to be audited to identify what kind of risks is existing that can help to improve road safety. So developing countries, many of the developing countries are undergoing a huge infrastructural development. And they are in the stage where developed countries, they have been 20, 30, 40 years ago, when a lot of infrastructural projects are being built. For that, having road safety audits now it's very advantageous for them so that they can identify safety problems. They can enhance their design to become more safe. And I totally agree with what Miguel mentioned, that complying with standards doesn't mean your roads are safe. So there are things need to be considered. There are things to go beyond the standards to ensure and to mitigate risks on road and ultimately reduce crashes and their fatalities and injuries. So it's very important for developing countries to pick up this now. And while they are developing and going in the journey to be developed country, to implement and to audit their road projects for safer operation in the future. I hope this can be answered, this question. And Miguel, if you'd like to add anything, you are most welcome.
I concur with the things that you have just said, but I also would like to say one thing that the people, they are not having into consideration. They are talking about developing countries, okay? But I can tell you that there are developed countries where the road safety culture is not installed among them, okay? So maybe they got the money, they got the resources, but they don't have the culture behind. So those countries, they also need, professional like road safety auditors in order that they can develop the road safety concept within their boundaries. But completely agree with the thing that you have said, Dr. Weil.
Thank you. I totally agree. Also, you mentioned a very important point: road safety culture and the public understanding of road safety requirement, including drivers and road users and how they behave on your road network and how they comply with traffic rules. This is very important. But when we talk about developing countries, these are developing, undergoing a development, and many of these countries are in the stage of infrastructural development, and then their roads are being built, their infrastructure, the major highways and networks are being built. Then they need to have audits. They need to audit these projects and to make sure that they are and learn from developed countries' experience in order to have a more safer roads and well-developed roads. The last question is, we have road safety audits for the design, for the concept and the planning stage. Planning and design stage.
Preliminary.
What are the difference
concept
between these and road safety assessments or safety
yeah,
impact
because
assessment?
No, very simple. I said the road safety impact assessment is something that you do in the planning and is for a network, okay? And you will have into consideration also the crash data analysis that you will need for that area, if you know. When we are talking about the stages of a project, is a lot more reduced, okay? The project is not going to be to build a city. The project is going to be to build a road from A to B. So it's not going to be as big as the road safety impact assessment, okay? But the foundation, the way that they are going to be working, a part of the having into consideration, because in that area, maybe you don't, if it's in the middle of the desert or in the middle of nowhere, you don't have accident in there. Okay, you don't have any kind of accident in there. But the other one, the road safety impact assessment can be done for new roads and also for major changes in a existing road. Okay, so for me, it's very clear. It's the extension of the area that we're going to be doing.
Okay, so to summarize, road safety audits, road safety impact assessments are more macro level. They are done for a macro.
Exactly.
But when we go to the micro assessment for a specific road, for a specific project, then we have a road safety audit, and it is an official procedure as part of the approval of the designs and of a project. But road safety impact assessments are more in a larger scale.
Mm-hmm.
And
larger
again, these
scale,
are namings. So please, all participants, I wish that they understand that these are all general namings that you can, for example, when you talk about road safety audit in the operational stage, they call it inspections. You still can call it an audit. So this is just
call it tomato. As I said, call it tomato. The important thing is the process.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
you can call it the way that you want, but follow the formal process. Okay, I don't care if it's called post-construction, pre-construction, pre-opening, whatever you want to call it, but follow the process. It's like that. Okay.
Exactly. So please, every participant, do not stick to the namings rather than the concept and the process and the background philosophy of having a road safety audit in terms of requirement and how to conduct it. Now we give you the floor, Miguel. I will follow up with you with the slides, and you can have the floor to continue the last part of our session today. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you go back one, please? Let's see. And one more. Perfect. Here is where we were. Okay. Sorry again, because it seems that my computer is a little bit temperamental, okay, and it doesn't allow me to pass the slides in the way that I would like. So we're going to see now which are the most frequent problems that we have in road safety audits, okay? And this is coming from a different kind of studies that we have done, okay, in order that we can assess common grounds of knowledge and establish common grounds of knowledge about the road safety auditor along the world. What's happening here is that you got a bunch of audits and you realize that when you got a problem with the vertical signs, you know, vertical signs, if they are obscure, they are dirty, or they are not clear, or they are damaged, this kind of problems is going to come 30% of the times that you are doing an audit, okay? And road markings, problems with road markings is going to come 10%. You can realize the big difference that you got between these two with the next one, that it should be the visibility issues, okay? So that means these two, that is vertical sign and road markings, is one of the cheapest things that we can do when we are talking about a project, about enhance the road safety of the project. And we are going to be avoiding 13% and 10% altogether is 23% of the comment that we have in the road safety audits in the general. So that is started to think that a quarter of the problems, okay, more or less, a quarter of the problems that we are going to have in a road safety audit that are related to these two can be easily sorted if we allocate appropriate road markings and appropriate traffic signs. Okay, just think about that. And they are not expensive if you compare with the money that you spend on a project. Okay. Later, other problems that we have, that they are all of them more or less about the 5% of the comments that we have is visibility issues, the stop inside distance. If you got any problem with the visibility distance that you got when you are arriving to a junction or something like that. Weaving is another thing that we need to have into consideration. Very clear, a lot of problems that they are coming in there. 5% of the problems of the audit that we have analyzed, they got weaving issues, okay? Disabled people issue. I put in here tactile paving or drop curb, but you realize that the width of the footpath, sometimes they are substandard, okay? Or if they need to access and cross if you need to cross a motorway that you have put a bridge, a pedestrian bridge for that one, sometimes the ramp, they don't have the inclination, the slope that they should have in order to facilitate these kind of things. Pedestrian and cyclist issue, okay? So you can see that these two, they are related, the disabled people issues and the pedestrian and cyclist issues, they are related with the vulnerable road users. So we are having 10% of the problems of the road safety audit that we have studied, they are related with vulnerable road users. It's another thing that is very simple to sort it out, okay? So if we sorted out the problems with the vertical signs and the road markings, plus the vulnerable road users, we're having 35% of the total of the problems that we're going to have in our audit sorted. Come on. And this is not difficult to do it, okay? I'm not talking about visibility and weaving because they are intrinsical to the design. And having those related and having tried to sort that out, it can be more costly than the ones that I'm saying. But vertical signs, road markings, vulnerable road users, all of that is cheap, okay? It's low cost measure, okay? The other ones that we got in here around 4%, that is the number and width of the lanes issue, okay? It can be sorted with road markings too, okay? And the illumination during the night hours. And we need to check if we got the kind of cone of shadows, you know, when we are driving on a road that we don't pass by from light, non-lit, non-lit, because our problem is that the eyes of the driver, it will change constantly and that can be a serious problem, okay, the cone of shadows. Dr. Well, please. Now I will explain you about the most frequent problems that we're going to have in the concept stage. Dr. Well, are you there? Ah, you're there. Thank you. So in the concept stage, as I said, this kind of stage is where we are going to be dealing with the big answers, you know, and very little money in order to implement them. Because as we say, there is nothing decided yet. And in here is where you need to decide the big questions, the topology of junction. You need to see what is going to be the proximity. Okay. So in here, it's very simple that we are going to realize if the junctions that we are allocated, that we have already agreed to put in concept design, they are far or they are close each other. Okay. So what is going to be, because if they are very far, we're going to find that if it's for pedestrians, you know, that they are not going to be able to walk from one to the other. Or if they are very close, we're going to have the problem of the weaving for the people that they are accessing or not. So these are the 60%, as you can see, 60% of the comment they are related to that one. Okay. At this stage, as I said, we are going to be most likely not having any kind of accident data. And another 60%, 57, 60% of the comments that we have, they are related to this. That is in the concept stage. Where are we going to put bus stops if we are putting some of them? This is why I said that we need to start thinking in all the public transport that we are having, not just bus stop. Please think about alerties, or if you need to talk about the metro. Okay, all of this needs to be done and needs to be brought into consideration. Okay, we need to check according to the volumetric traffic that we are going to be supplying, because that's something that we are going to know. What kind of junction we are deciding, is it that adequate or not? With this kind of problem or comments, is it going to appear? So imagine if you are doing the concept design, okay, if you are doing the concept design of a project, with this guidance that I'm telling you, you know more or less what is going to be the content of your road safety audit. You will have problem. The auditor is going to tell you that they cannot find any accident data. They're going to tell you the junctions, they are very far away. The pedestrian, they will have issues to travel or to cross if you don't have a mid-block, you know, in order to cross in there. So please, Dr. Well, pass to the next one, to the preliminary ones. In the preliminary one, remember, we are going to be having this following comments: overtaking issues. If we are having any kind of conflict, because the stop inside distance, okay, is going to be very, it can be restricted, and we are going to analyze that in here. Okay, so restricted visibility is going to bring us overtaking issues. Okay, we're going to have also issues with the street furniture. I have seen in here rocks that they have been allocated in the medium as street furniture. Fantastic architect that they have put that beautiful rock that is more than 5 tons, you know, in the middle of the median without any kind of protection, but it's beautiful. It's also beautiful to see how the people, they are going to crash and die. Okay, so we are going to have those kind of comments. And all of this, the thing that I'm telling you, the first three that we got, the restricted visibility, the overtaking issue, and the street furniture, is going to be over the 40% of the comments that we are having, between 40 and 50%. So our audit is very clear that is going to show us this kind of comments in order that we sort it out on the design stage that we are, the preliminary design. In here, we reduce, and we don't have any comment about the VR system. Some people, they don't put it in here, they put it later in the detailed design, okay? But I believe that it should allocate it in here in the preliminary, because in here you can say also, and you can ask for what is going to be the level of containment that you need to put it in here. Because you already know the number of vehicles that they are traveling. You have already decided in here the design speed. okay? And you know the number of heavy traffic that you are having on the road, it's very simple for you to calculate what is going to be the level of containment that is required on this road. And if you know the level of containment, you will know what kind of VRS system you need to allocate in here and what is going to be your preferred one, okay? Me as a road safety auditor, the only thing that I care is that you comply with the level of containment required on the road. I don't care if you use steel, if you use cable, or if you use concrete, or if you use glass, whatever you want to put. Meanwhile, you comply with the level of containment that is needed on the road, okay? And of course, as I said before, if you don't have pedestrian crossing enough in between of two different junctions that we have already, remember that in here is where we're going to agree with the concept design that we have for junctions, okay? So in here, we are going to agree if the distance of that junction that we had before, it was too much or too less, okay? And we are going to have if we can have lack of pedestrian crossing. Normally, we are going to see that the weaving is not going to be a big problem because they will separate the junction, but we will have problems with pedestrian because they cannot access to cross safely the road, okay? And of course, in here in preliminary design is where we're going to see the horizontal and vertical design issues. That is going to be a very, very common problem. Dr. Well, please. Okay, in the stage 3, in the detailed design, and here is where we are going to have all our artillery ready, okay? In here, the first thing is how different users, they are going to enter into conflict, okay? We will have our junctions, we will have our side of the road, our road side, we will have our street furniture, and we will need to see how can we make that all these kind of different users, they are effectively interacting between them without any kind of problem. So most of our comments, more than half of the comments, they are going to be, this car can strike in this pedestrian, or this pedestrian, it seems that it cannot cross because it hasn't got the facility to cross, or this crossing hasn't been provided with the tactile paving. We are going to have also, you can see, the drop care and the calming traffic issues. The drop care, fundamental. I have seen many crossings in many countries where they don't drop the curb. I'm not talking just about disabled people. I'm talking about also the parents that they are with the trolley with the children, with the little ones, and they don't have a drop curb in order that they can cross the road in an easy manner, okay? Or even the, how can you say, the postman. The postman, normally they don't go always in a van, or they are going always in a bicycle. No, they can also carry the trolley where they got all the cards, and it's helping them to have this kind of drop curbs. And people that they are elderly, okay, not disabled, elder people that they got problem for mobility, okay, and they don't need to be disabled, just that they got problem or they walk slow. Do you think that your grandpa or your grandma, they are going to have the same kind of vitality that you have in order to jump through a fantastic curve? Okay, we know 14 millimeters, more or less, but sometimes they require more time. Okay, so if they can see a slope, you know, the curve is dropped, you are easy in their life. Okay, so that kind of comments, they are going to come in here. In the intersection, when they are very close, we will have the weaving issue. I'm telling you that this, at this stage, if we find this one, is very difficult to correct. Very difficult because the designer, he will try to mitigate. He is not going to try to correct. But, and a big but in here, is where the safe system approach should enter. And you need to ask, okay, I'm in an intersection, okay, am I going to have any kind of T-bone crash at 50 kilometers per hour or more? If the answer is say yes, and normally if you're having problems with weaving, it's because the junctions, they are very close and you have a humongous volumetric traffic that they are diverting from one side to the other. If they say yes, you need to tell them, look, you need to change it. You cannot continue like that. So instead of accepting a departure, the thing that you are telling them is changing the design, not changing the typology. In here, as I said, you cannot change the typology of the junction, okay? Unless that the that the designer decided to do something like that and do a grade separated. No, not like that, okay? That is earlier, in an earlier state. Of course, at detailed design, another comment that we have is the lack of accident data. It can happen depending on where you are, or the lateral clearance between the lanes and the curves. That's another thing that is important. If you don't know, if you are passing by, imagine that you got a segregated footpath or segregated bicycle path. If you don't give different enough, enough safety distance between the live traffic and the curb that where you got that kind of things, the people, they are going to feel insecure. Okay, and even though if you can have a lucid control, if that curve is not a high containment curve, that curve can be overrun. Okay, I'm not saying that the curve is mountable, because it shouldn't be mountable, but a normal curve, if you go at 50, 60 kilometers per hour and you lose control, normal curve, you pass it. It's like you have nothing, okay? So this is why it's important to have that into consideration. Please, Dr. Well, the next one. Construction. In the construction, 90% of the problems that we have is maintenance, like that. You are going to be dealing with people that they haven't prepared a maintenance plan, or that they don't know how to do a proper maintenance, or they know how to do it and they don't want to implement a safer maintenance plan. Maintenance plan. So you're going to find 90% of the comments related to that one. Illumination or reflectivity issues, because they will try, as I said, in here is where you are having the road markings and the traffic sign at the end. Okay, so they will try to save peanuts. The money that they save with the road markings and with the signs is peanuts from the project, but they are going to have problems for reflectivity or problems with the illumination. Okay, they are going to find also the VRS, the problems with the VRS that is not appropriate. Of course, if I tell you that you can calculate in advance what is going to be the level of containment of the road, the needed level of containment, well, later you will arrive to this and you say, excuse me, this VRS is not enough. Instead of having a TL5 or an H2, you are putting here an N2. Why didn't you calculate this one before? You will be surprised that there are not a lot of engineers that they know how to calculate what is the level of containment that is required on a road. Simple formula, simple spreadsheet. It's an algorithm, but not a lot of people they know. That is okay. Visibility and perception issues. Okay, we are going to see that the visibility, when everything is built, you will realize that maybe you have obscure some signs, or you are not allowing the stop inside distance that you thought that you are going to have, because the people on site, when they put the signs or where they put the landscaping, they were not being considered in the project. I know that a lot of people, they will tell you, oh no, don't worry. The vertical signs we will put in on site, not according to the drawing that you got in here. No. We'll send our engineer, we will check the visibility, and after that we have checked the visibility, we will put the sign in an appropriate manner. That is the answer that I have listened every single time when I'm closing a road safety audit. Unfortunately, this is not the reality. What is happening in reality is that the contractor take the drawing, the designer never sent any engineer on site just to check that one. The contractor never sent anybody just to check like that. And the poor worker saw the drawing and put the things in accordance with the drawing, that not always is right. Okay? So you need to be careful with these kind of things when we are doing our road safety audits, because a lot of comments, they are going to come like that. And it's double work for them, because if it's not good, you are going to detect as a road safety auditor, you're going to put your comment, and later they will tell you, yes, we are going to change. But imagine you have already finished everything is set for start using that road, and you need to delay just because you need to change now things. Okay, Dr. Well, please, the next one. Post-construction, when we are monitoring the road, okay, 90%, the same than before, maintenance issue. We are going to have a big problem with the people that they are doing, for example, putting water for the plants, okay, or the people that they need to change a VRS that it has been damaged. All these kind of comments, they will come in the stage 5, okay, 90%. As I said, damaged VRS that we got in here. Has anybody thought about the frequency that the maintenance people they had in order to replace damaged VRS? Because you can have a VRS that it has been damaged, you know, a month, 2 months, 5 months ago, and still damage in there. And you know that the VRS is not working properly because you got that one. What if you got, instead of only one hit, a hot spot in there and your VRS is already damaged? So this is why it's very important that the auditor is provided with the maintenance plan. And if he's not provided within the audit brief, the auditor should ask for it, okay? Our responsibility is to ask for it. The contractor or the designer will tell us, no, we don't have it, okay? But we need to put a note if we have been provided with that one, okay? Of course, we're going to have the illumination or reflectivity issue if it's damaged, okay? All this kind of stuff, as I said, the contractor will try to install the minimum possible in order that they can save money. Please, Dr. Well. Okay, now let's see what is a road safety inspection. Okay, you remember the graph that we had before? We have for the planning, later we have for the design, and later we have for the operation. So please, press the next one. The road safety inspection, okay, as we have seen before, is, there is no one before? No, okay. As we have seen before, the road safety inspection is already the one that we are going to be doing when we have a road that is already hasn't got any kind of road safety audit before and is open to the traffic and is the first audit that we are doing, okay? Sometimes stage C, sometimes road safety inspection, the way that you want. The way that we are going to perform is the same. But in here, we are going to have accident data. It's very easy to find accident data for this road because it has been in operation for a long time, okay? As I said, if we got changes on the road, okay, and in the adjacent area is where we are going to be undertaking this kind of inspection. Also, when we are having problems of a hot spot, okay, that means that the road will evolve. It will come to that group that it has been already audited. This one inspected, but it's part of the audit process. Okay, we need to have into consideration that the standards, they are always alive. Okay, so if the road was built in 1950, we need to bring that road to the standards. Okay, because the standards, they evolve fast and the technology evolve even faster. Okay, so we need to check in order that if it's an old road from 1950 and all the surrounding area, they are roads that they have been built 10 years ago, we need to bring that up to a standard. You cannot say, no, I cannot do that. No, you need to do it. You need to inspect and you need to bring to the standard because the roads, like us, we get old, okay? And the good thing is that we get old together, okay? Not I'm cut and I die soon because my road is getting old, okay? I just want to get old the same than the road. Dr. Well, please, the next one. So, why do we need to do it at this stage? Because we can detect different kind of problems like the dangerous or hazardous locations that we got on the road, the hot spot that we were talking, okay? Even if you got flooding risk, you can identify where was that happening because you got a trend of information, okay? That is also, all of this kind of data is always available, okay? We need to detect, we also can detect things like the lack of equipment of the road. In the 1950s, nobody was a lot of, you know, caring about the kind of road safety barriers that they were putting, the VRS, the vehicle restraint system that they were putting. But now we are caring. So maybe there is a lack of the criteria that they got in 1950 because they didn't have the technology at that time, and the criteria that we have nowadays, okay? So all these kind of things, they can make that our road is not up to the standards that we have now. If we have a road that is not up to the standards, okay, it's a departure. And if it's a departure, the people, they can be confused. And if the people is confused, it's easy that they make mistake. And if they make mistake, they can have an accident. And they can have an accident, you know, an incident on the road, they can lose their life. So this is why it's very important, our work, okay? And is the real risk location for the road users. If you got the whole network upgraded, you know, to the standard that we got now, but we don't have this particular one that is never was brought up to a standard, is going to be a real risk location. Dr. Weil, please. Okay, how are we going to be doing this one? Well, we are going to be doing periodic reviews, okay, of all the existing roads that we have, okay, and we need to address which are going to be the risk factors, okay, because when we address the risk factor, when we know the risk factor, we can address a solution, okay. Remember, these are existing roads, okay. They never had before the process of road safety auditing, and this is the first audit that they receive. So they are designed to identify safely related issues that they require a review. So you will have inspector teams, you know, that they're going to be qualified inspectors, that they will go on site and they will check all the things that they need to see as if it was a road safety audit, okay? Later, I will talk about the checklist. I don't like checklists for road safety audits, but for here, due that the inspector, maybe they are not fully knowledge about the road safety auditing process, a checklist is a very helpful thing, okay? When we are talking about the road safety inspection, the same that we got in the construction and that we got in the monitoring, day and night site visit. Don't go only during the day, okay? If you go during the day only, you will miss a lot of problems. And remember that it's a super standard road because it hasn't been upgraded yet to the standard that we have now. And you will realize about the problems that you're having in there. We need to do the maintenance, the inspection as a routine. I know that there will be many countries, and I'm not talking just about Doha, that Doha is small, it's a small peninsula, okay? But there are many countries that they are large, okay? Well, the countries that they are large, that they got a very big road network, please, you need to establish a routine. You need to start a sequence of maintenance, okay? In order that the people, they can inspect the roads that they have open. Developing countries, the good thing that they got is that normally, because they are developing all the roads that they are bringing to standards, and all the roads that they are old, they were not being considered road because some of them, they are not even asphalt, you know. But this one, because they communicate, they got a proper functionality, and it's going to be continuing that way. This one, they also need to be included into the routine for the maintenance and the inspection. And of course, maybe they are not going to be the ones that all the people, they are now traveling in the new road that they have built. But to go to the small village A to the small village B, they will be continuing using this kind of one. And we need to bring these ones also to a standard, okay? Of course, we go with the inspection. Potentially, we can identify issues that they need another redesign. Imagine that you are in a road and the road has a very sharp bend. Okay, maybe now you are able to identify this one and bring it to the standard and make that sharp bend a little bit more smooth, safer for the road users. Please, Dr. Well. Okay, the road safety inspections, they are carried out by professionals appointed by the relevant authority. Maybe this is something that it can be done not as independent as a road safety audit, okay? Ideally, you will have a team, you know, the authority will have a team of inspectors, you know, and because the owner of the road is the one that is doing the inspection, we can say that it's not very independent, okay? But it's okay if they are well trained, because it's the main objective of the main aim that the owner of the road has is that no having any problem within their network. So normally it's going to be carried out by people that they belong to that organization. Okay. The brief, it will be prepared, okay, by the engineers that they got within the local authority, and they will be given to the inspector. And the inspector will assess the road as if it was the first time that they were passing by there, okay? Because you cannot ask people that they are very familiar with the road, because they pass that road once and again, and their eyes, they are used to the mistakes that that road used to have, or that road it has. So you need fresh vision, fresh eyes in order to do this kind of inspection, okay? Later you will be reporting road safety engineering team to the road safety engineering team the problems that you have found, and they will act assessing the problems that you have identified and proposing engineering solution. Okay, if they don't propose an engineering solution, we haven't done anything, because you go there to inspect and to bring that road up to the standard. So the standard that you have in the past, they're not going to be the ones that you got in here. So don't tell me that you cannot propose engineering solution for that one. Don't tell me that the engineers that they were doing this road in 1950, they are going to have the same kind of knowledge that the engineers that they are doing roads in 2021. No, techniques has evolved a lot. And the science has evolved a lot. So we are able to bring that road up to the standards. Please, Dr. Well, next one. Okay, so how is it going to be our process for doing road safety inspection? It's going to be very similar to the one that we have seen before, okay? We're going to study all the data, okay, related to the road or the route or the network that we're going to be inspecting, including crash data. In here, it's easy to have it, because all of these, as I said, they are existing road, okay? They are in operation. They were not included in the road safety auditing process because it didn't exist, that process, when they were built. But the fact that they have been built like that, they tell you that they may have very good crash data, collision data. Okay, we will need to undertake comprehensive site visits. Okay, always remember, you cannot do this work from your desk. It's impossible. You must go on site. Okay, you need to feel the road. You need to feel how everything is developing on the road. You need to see with your eyes which are the problems. So this is not something that you can do from your desk. In fact, I would recommend that if you are doing that kind of things, record it in video, but don't trust someone record it for you. You record it by yourself, and later when you are doing the desk exercise, the thing that you need to do is remember, how were you feeling? The things that you were noting, when you were driving for that area, okay? Okay, you need to assess the perspective from every single user. This is always. And you need to do analysis and report your analysis. You need to comprehensively telling them what is happening, okay? Of course, all of this at the end is going to be reverted to the authority that it has the power on the road, okay? And you expect to see implementation of the improvement that they are going to recommend. Always is going to be engineering solutions to bring from the past to the present technique. Dr. Weil, please. Okay. As I said before, you can put the next one too. Click another one. That's it. Keep it in there. As I said before, no, that's the one. As I said before, we are having another useful tool. I'm using my fingers to put in commas, between commas. That is the list, the checking list that we have for road safety auditing. Okay, the checking list for road safety auditing is very useful when you are starting in this kind of career and you don't want to forget anything. However, we always say that the list is not limited to the list, that they can be added more things. However, a lot of people, they use the checklist just as a checklist. No, they don't go beyond, they don't see beyond that one. This is why it's very important, your experience, the years that you have spent forming yourself and developing yourself in road safety auditing. I have put in here 3 different ones from different standards. Every single standard in the world, at the end of the standard, you will have how to write a report. But that is the way that normally comes. And they will put for you also the checklist, what you need not to forget. And it's like a guidance for you. But I will say that the checklist should be done after you have done all your audit. Don't do the checklist and later you do the audit, because you can overseeing things that they don't come on the checklist, okay? Just do your audit, put everything that you have found, and later use the checklist to see if this is applicable or not applicable to the thing that you are doing, okay? That is the most important thing for checklist. I don't like a lot in order to use it as the road safety audit, as a substitute of the road safety audit. However, when we are talking about inspections, I would do a checklist for the inspector if they are not qualified road safety auditors. Okay, if they are inspector, and we know that for inspector, we say that sometimes they don't have the engineering degree. You need to deal with people that you need to explain everything very clear, and you need to make them aware about the risk that they are going to be seeing on the road. I'm realizing that because I have done the Work-Zone Traffic Management Guidance, Work-Zone Traffic Management training. And I realized that people that they are normally doing this kind of diversion, they don't realize about the risk because they are not educated. So a checklist for them can be very useful in order they can identify risk. But again, a checklist is limited, okay? So maybe it can cover 80 to 85% of all the issues that you got in there. If the inspector brings you 80 to 85% of the issues, it's a good number. But the other 15, it needs to be the person, the appropriate road safety auditor who goes on site and check that kind of things. Please, Dr. Wild, the next one. Okay, projects to be audited. Okay, this is, in every single country, you got different kind of things. Of course, I have put this table because I really like it. It's very, very easy to understand. M for mandatory, the O optional, okay, and the D is for the people to disclosure, to the discretion of the authority, okay? So you can see in here different kind of project, okay, that they are going to be, that they need to be audited, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You can see when you got a new expressway or a new road or an alteration of the physical, of the geometrical alignment, vertical, horizontal on a road, all of these, they are going to have a mandatory. Another ones that I haven't said before, I put it in at the beginning, but I'm going to say now, is that in Europe, we used to have from 2008 an European directive, you know, and the European directive now it has been superseded for the 2019 1936, okay? And in there now it's compulsory to undertake road safety audit for work zones. Work zones is a very important place where we must do road safety audits. And if you realize in here, we got it at the end. At the end, we got work zones that they must be audited, okay? So out of the projects that we are having, you know, that they must be audited, work zone, I would say that is one of they are ones of the ones that they got more accident and more casualties, okay? Not just for workers, but also for people that they are passing by and they're negotiating the work zone. Of course, new expressway, new local road, major road projects, minor road projects, develop, all of them, if you realize, to the design and the construction is mandatory, all of those, logically. The last one, the stage 5, the monitoring, they say up to the discretion of the local authority. I don't understand why don't do it mandatory. I'm going to tell, I don't understand, but I know why. Because normally when you finish your construction project, the only thing that you want to do is to disappear from there. Take your guarantee that you have already given to the authority in order that they allow you to do the work. You take your deposit, and if I see you, I don't remember you. It's like that. This is why they put it like discretional, okay? But it should be mandatory too, because imagine that you are going to do the monitoring at the 12th month or the 24th or the 36th, whenever you want to do it, and you realize that there is a problem in there. Who is going to sort it out? Well, now it's going to be the authority, and all the cost implication for that one is going to be under the authority funding. Before, if you do it within the 2 years that they got guarantee time after that they have been built, if you extend that time for doing this road safety audit, or you make a condition that within 2 years you don't have a problem, blah, 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 and you undertake a stage 5 road safety audit, then it will be, the funding will be from the contractor, okay? So as I said, this list, this is an example from Qatar, but you can have this one in many different countries, many different projects. Of course, you can also see that some of the projects, they must do it, but someone decided from the local authority or from the governmental authority that they don't need to be done. So they will do an exemption report. And with that exemption report, they will be giving this kind of, I don't know, this kind of privilege, okay? Okay, so let's talk about non-motorized user, NMU audits, okay? In here, we are going to see that the road safety, they can be focusing in one specific group of users, okay? Non-motorized users, as I said, they are users, as they say here, user of the same kind of network, the same kind of roads, okay? So they must be brought into consideration. And this can be pedestrian, bicycle, children, and people with disabilities. And I would say also that we need to have those even into more consideration when we're talking school zones, okay? And we're talking close in the vicinity of a shopping mall or in the vicinity of a hospital, okay? All these kind of areas, they are going to be very sensitive for non-motorized user audit, okay? Now it's called vulnerable users, okay? But before it was called like that. Please, Dr. Weil. Okay, so the thing that we will be doing when we finish a road safety audit or a road safety impact assessment or a road safety inspection, we will be reporting, and we are expecting a response back, telling us that they are accepting or they are not accepting what we have suggested, okay? So the report will be sent to the project sponsor, to the project manager, to whoever is interested in reading what we are saying, because seriously, from time to time, our reports, they go back on the shelf and they start taking dust, and it's just a checkpoint for them, but they don't care about that. The project manager is the one that must respond to every single concern. Well, he should respond to every single concern. As I said, we should have a meeting where all parties, they are in there. Is the closeout session that we do here. And that is quite interesting because you can listen every single party, you know, at the table, and the authority responsible for the road will have the last word in that one, okay? So the responsible of the project manager to make the decision if this is going to be done or this is not going to be done. And we need to see what is important. We need to see what is going to be the impact on road collision and casualties. As I told you, I don't mind if the number of collisions stays the same, but I want to minimize or mitigate the consequences of road collision. Please, Dr. Weil. Okay. Road safety audits save lives and money, okay? We have many studies, you know, across the world where we can say that they save money because they reduce the number of casualties that you got, okay? In the UK, we got the schemes that they have been audited, okay? They are 5 times more effective reducing crashes than schemes that they haven't been audited, okay? And if you implement the safety change that they are set, because you can audit But later they say, okay, thank you for the audit, but I'm not going to implement anything, okay? But if you implement the changes, okay, at the design phase, you can save an average of $22,000 per the site that you are applying this one, okay? Later you go to other countries like Denmark, that the first year rate return for audit team is 146%, or in Jordan is 120%, or in Australia, the benefit, the cost ratio benefit that you got of the at the design stage is 36:1, or if you do it for the inspection or the existing one is 6:1. So you can see that the road safety audits and road safety inspections, and also traffic impact assessment, the road safety impact assessment, they can bring a lot of value for the things that we are having, okay? So please, don't hesitate in embrace road safety, this kind of tools, okay? I don't know if you were expecting me to explain a little bit more about the road safety audit report or how to write. No, that is independent, the place that you are. You got the standard, you do it like that. Please, pass the next one, please. You will see standards everywhere, you know. And now I'm going to explain you about something that Susanna said before, the 3-star rating, okay? Okay, IRAP is an organization that is very famous in the world. You got IRAP everywhere. You go to Spain, you got IRAP, you go to Doha, you got IRAP, you got everywhere in the world, okay? So the International Road Safety Program is going to give you a rate for the roads that you got in your country or the roads that you are going to design in your country, okay? They are very advanced program, and they are going to tell you if your road is going to be up to standard and up to safety for that one. Allow me to tell you that IRAP, fantastic tool, but I would use this tool in countries where they don't have appropriate road safety auditors. Is, for me, the first approach to road safety. Fantastic, seriously, it's a very good tool, okay? But if you got people that they can do this work, why do you need this program? Because this program allows you to increase, it's a rating program, it's like the hotels, okay? You got hotels from 1 star to 5 star, 7 if you are in Dubai, okay? Well, but it's okay. You got hotels that the classification is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star. Within here, they use the similar classification for the roads, being the worst road in 1 star and being the best excellent road in 5 stars, okay? So doing changes, lowering the speed, or allocating VRS, or putting and protecting and putting illumination is going to have a huge impact on the road, on the safety of the road, and it can go from 1 to 3 to 4 very fast. The problem that you see in here with this program that it should be working together with a road safety auditor. Because if you tell them, look, if you put the VRS in here, your road that is 2 star, it will pass to 3 star. You say, fantastic, I will put VRS. But IRAP is not going to tell you what kind of VRFs you need to put. They're not going to calculate for you the level of containment that is needed. That is something that someone else needs to do it, okay? And someone needs to check that one. Or if they tell you, you got 100 kilometers per hour road, and they tell you, if you reduce the speed, your road, it will pass from 2 star to 3 star, or from 3 star to 4 star. If you go from 100 to 80, fantastic. Yeah, reducing the speed is not just changing the plate. Come on, it's not changing the marking. It's not that just saying, I got 100 sign post in here and I put 80 now. No, you need to apply measures in order to do that. Okay, so it's a very good tool when you don't have any other thing. Okay, but when you have other thing, if you want to continue with IRAP, bring a road safety specialist to work close with the IRAP. Please, Dr. Wild, next one. So the way that IRAP works, as I said, is with the star rating. They will inspect with videos all the surrounding area. They also do it with drawings, okay? And they will assess and they will code all the attributes that the road is going to have related to safety risk. That is brilliant because the equipment, the technology that they use is so advanced that they can detect safety risk easier than we road safety auditor when we are in our in our pickup or in our truck with the camera recording. Okay, so they got a fantastic equipment for that. This is why I admire IRAP for this kind of things. But as I said, it needs the next stage, that is working closely with a road safety specialist. Of course, they use computers. They are aseptic. So they put the characteristic of the roads that they have been assessing, and aseptically they tell you this is 3, this is 2, this is 4. Okay. And of course, they tell you how and when you need to invest in order that everything is going to be upgraded to the next rate. And they will give you a performance tracking. They will tell you if you are doing right or if you are doing wrong with the money that you are investing in these kind of things. Please, Dr. Well, the next one. So at the end, what we were saying before, what Susana was telling you before, is that all the new roads, they should have, you remember it was the number 4, okay, of the voluntary for 2017, the voluntary targets, okay. Number 4, it was that minimum 3-star rating, okay. So with that, we are going to grant that those roads, they're going to be safe, you know, again, they're going to be as safe as they can for a 3-star rating. But if you got road safety auditors, maybe you can achieve a 4 or a 5 if they follow your advice, okay? As I said, IRAP, very good tool, but it requires help from a road safety specialist. Please, Dr. Well. This is a very useful manual, just in case that you don't have any standard. The Asian Development Bank, they did that, and it's available for everybody. It's for free, and you got a lot of case of studies and examples that they can be used for the checklist that you got in here. And with this, Dr. Well, I think I'm going to stop in here the presentation because the next one is for economy, and that will do it tomorrow and in the next days. Okay. Now, if anyone got a question or whatsoever, I'm here. No problem at all. I think I have been more or less good with the timing.
Yes. Thank you, Miguel, for the presentation. And I think with this information, we have covered the basic information regarding the concept of road safety audits, requirements, and also the benefits of road safety audit. And in the next 2 sessions, tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, we will go more on examples of road safety problems, how to identify them as a road safety auditor, which will be addressed tomorrow. And in the last day, we will talk about what kind of treatments and countermeasures can be proposed for different road safety issues. I have some questions here and there. Actually, there is a lot of questions, difficult to summarize them, but one of them is about what kind of tools to be used for road safety assessment, either a road safety in an audit or an assessment or an inspection. Is there specific tools that can be used to guide road safety auditors?
Well, the important thing is the training course. The training course. You must have a proper trainer that is experienced, you know, in the things that is going to teach you. I'm not saying that people, well, I'm saying yes, people that they haven't been on site ever in their life, they cannot teach you this. Okay, they can be fantastic teachers for specializations that they are going to be very complicated, but if they haven't been on site, they will not understand the way that they need to transmit this one. So it's very important to choose a proper training course where you can learn your foundation. So that is the main tool. Later, as I said, checklist. Well, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not as good, but leave it for the end, for the people that they are not qualified as engineers, just to have a help for them.
Great. Also, to add to you, of course, there are some international tools that can be used. Some of them are free, some of them you have to buy, such as the one in Australia. You have the Highway Safety Manual. You have different tools that you can use to learn more about the relationship between traffic operation and what kind of safety problems can appear, what kind of safety problems you can have in your roads. But again, attending more and more trainings regarding road safety, not only road safety audit in general, to understand the process of road safety audit, but for example, attending trainings on crash investigation, attending trainings on vulnerable road user safety, pedestrian safety, attending trainings that address road safety in work zones, roadside safety also will enhance your knowledge and improve your knowledge. With the experience of conducting road safety audits, you will always find and identify different road safety audit issues that will also accumulate over your experience. Other question is regarding road design standards does not guarantee safety.
Yes,
can you
indeed.
elaborate more on that, Miguel?
Oh yeah, of course. Okay, I would like to show you an example that I got already, but okay. Let me do one thing. I don't have my camera now. Let me see if I can see the camera. Is it working? I don't know if you can see me. If you stop sharing your screen, Dr. Wael, please. Okay. Hello everybody. Let me see if I'm able to show you a presentation where I can explain exactly about these kind of things. Here, Qatar University Master Course September. Okay, I'm opening this one. Let's see if I can share this screen with you now, and I can explain very clear about that the road safety doesn't guarantee. Sorry, the complying with the standards doesn't guarantee road safety. Okay, and it's most likely for designers these kind of things, because they think that complying with the standard that they have been doing, the road is going to be safe enough to be driven. Okay, that is the minimum. Remember that is going to be the minimum acceptable. Okay, look, let me see if I can share this. Hopefully. Okay, this one. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, is in the slide mode or not yet? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's have a look to this road that we got in here. Okay, it's a normal carriageway. Okay, that it has, it can have potential problems for the people when they are turning to the right hand side. Okay, and they can have like head-on collisions. So not head-on collision. They can have head-on collision with the other one, but no rear shank collisions if you are slowing down and you want to enter on the minor junctions that you got in here. Okay, so this intersection, it provides a good horizontal side distance for the side road. Okay, however, in order to avoid the rear shank collisions, we say, okay, let's try to do like a filter. We create a deceleration lane, and with the deceleration lane, we are going to avoid this kind of rear shank collision that we should have before. Dr. Well, are you able to see my screen or not?
Yes.
Has it changed properly?
Can you change now again?
No, it's okay. It's still in number 2. Deceleration lane allows vehicle. It's still in there.
It is number 1 now, and I think.
So number 1, an intersection. Number 2, I have changed now to the second one.
We cannot see the second one.
Okay, the thing that I'm trying to explain is that if you create a deceleration, tomorrow I will put this one as a response. The only thing that I'm saying is that even if you create something that is better and you follow the standards, you may create a problem that they are not comprised within this standard. For example, the thing that I was putting in here, when you create the filter, the deceleration lane for that one, it doesn't allow the people, when that deceleration lane is busy, the people that they are exiting from the junction, they don't have the same kind of visibility that they had before. Okay, so you need to think a little bit more to see how it's possible that you increase the visibility that you have already corrected. The deceleration lane is okay. You are following the standard. You are making safer because you are removing the rear shunt collision. However, you are creating a problem that before you didn't have it. Okay, so you are complying with all the standard, but you're not granting the safety of that road. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to stop because you're going to see tomorrow.
Now just to move to slide 2, but it's okay.
So can you see slide 3 now?
No, now I think you stopped sharing.
Okay, it's okay. No, tomorrow we will sort it out much better because I will be in Qatar University and we're not going to have this kind of problem. So yes. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, maybe I can add to what you said, that usually design standards for roads are giving us general guidelines for how to design your roads, considering some minimum requirements that ensure smooth flow, smooth movement of vehicles, and in some context contribute to safety, to safe operation. However, in the detailed operation of roads, there are several issues that are not addressed in the design standards, and it has to be looked from a different perspective to identify how the operation itself will lead to a safer, to safety, or could induce some crash risk. And here will come the road safety auditor, who just look to the operation itself. If this road comes to an operation in the design stage and it becomes implemented, what kind of safety risk it can appear. This process helped a lot roads, especially new roads, to be in a more safer level of operation compared to roads that are existing without conducting road safety audits. And here, take us actually to a question by one of several participants who said that there are countries they don't have road safety audits concepts, or they don't have this process implemented. In that case, what kind of suggestion we can give them? Some participants proposed, for example, for civil engineers to conduct road safety reports, let's call it, or assessments, and being submitted to government agencies to take decisions and to impose improvements. Do you have any comment on this, Miguel?
No, they will realize that the world is evolving. Everybody needs to have, a proper road safety culture, and road safety auditing is something that is coming. It's coming for every single country, even if they don't believe it, because they realize that they are not as perfect as they were thinking. Okay, so because we made mistakes, and the holistic approach that we go for the safe system is that we are human beings and we are going to make mistakes, they will realize that this kind of tools that we have been talking today is something that they need to adhere. Stop being so stubborn or so unpractical, okay, and start enhancing what the rest of the world is doing. I can tell you, the people that the government that they are not adhering, even if they got the resources to do road safety auditing, is because they are still quite proud about the things that they say. But you need to lose these kind of things and make the best for the people that they are living within your boundaries. Okay, that is the kind of thing they will enhance. I'm quite sure about that. The same that in the UK, the road safety auditing is very well developed. They still need to go a little bit beyond. They need to enhance the proper safety system in a deeper way, stopping about the risk assessment that we got and the GD 104 and these kind of things. No. We need to start changing our philosophy.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of people that they are seeing me now, they are from the UK. I'm member of SORSA in the committee, and seriously, I'm telling them that they need to improve a little bit more, but they need time. Everything needs time. And I promise you, if it was not for them that they had the first idea to bring road safety auditing into the design process, we would be a little bit lost. Maybe other countries would take the lead.
Indeed. Last comment that I saw it interesting, but I'm not sure if it should be addressed on this webinar or not. For Ashgal, or for you, Miguel, when you work in Ashgal, what kind of impact speed do you use or do designers use for defining pedestrian treatments?
Dr. Well, that is a very compromised situation for me, but it's okay. I will try to answer without compromising myself. Okay. As I said, they should be able to answer if 30 kilometers per hour you can strike a pedestrian or not. Okay. Everything that is 30 kilometers per hour or beyond or more than that, you should redesign your design. You should think about changing the things. You should allocate protection ways, you know, but protection is always the last thing. Try to improve your design in order that the answer to that question is no.
Okay? So do you mean that because when you're talking about 30 kilometers per hour, so if any road speed limit is 30 or 50, of course the vehicle, there is a vehicle might hit with a speed of more than 30. So it is related to the speed limit of the road.
Of course, if you go at 30 kilometers per hour, the chances of survival is around 80%. If you hit a pedestrian over 30 kilometers per hour, the chances of survival of the pedestrian will decrease exponentially. Okay. Normally, you can have a fatality even at 40 kilometers per hour. You can have a fatality. So it's something that the designers, they should consider the population. They should consider the areas that they are designing, the focus, the point of attraction. They should consider also if it's going to be close to a school or a mosque or close to a hospital. You need to have all these kind of things, and in there, the speed must be reduced. As I told you before, having a crash is just to have a liberation of the kinetic energy. And we cannot take all the kinetic energy that is liberated in a crash. So this is why you need to low, because you got a car and the car is going to take part of your kinetic energy. If you are a pedestrian, unless that you are like me, fatty, you know, you cannot take much kinetic energy. Okay, I got a good cushion in here. It's not the Raptor that they used to say in here, but it's a good cushion, but it's not enough against a car. Okay.
If I put myself, maybe try to understand better the question from the participants, probably is there any different treatments for protecting pedestrians as part of a road safety audit when you identify a problem on roads with high speed? So example, roads with a 50 kilometer per hour speed limit, roads with an 80 kilometer per hour speed limit, regardless of the impact speed, because the speed limit is the critical issue here. In this case, for this kind of different types of roads, do you have a list of different treatments that you usually propose as a road safety auditor, or you highlight?
Of course, we always explain about the calming measures that you need to have in there, about reducing the lanes in order that people they start you know, going. You reduce the width of the lane, they are going to calm down the speed. You put rumble strips also in order that the people they got you know, an indication that something is happening in there. So yes, you got a lot of measures, but this is not like the recipe of doing a paella. Okay, you need to study everything independently, case by case, and in that way you can assess better what is happening with the pedestrian in that area.
Great, thank you for the very interesting presentation today, and also I would like to thank all participants for the wonderful comments and thoughts they are giving us through the question and answers place. And I think we'll have more and more interesting practical information in the next session tomorrow, where we will, as we see in the screen, we will address issues related to the safety problems, and we take experiences also from different safety problems in other countries worldwide to have a kind of brainstorming about different safety issues being faced in different types and level of roads. Tomorrow, the session will be a little bit in different timings. We will be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Doha time. And again, all the times we are talking about are Doha time. So please convert it to relevant timing that you have in your place. And also regarding the link we are using, we will be using the same link you used today. You don't need any new link to join the session. The same link, you can always join tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. The last point I would like to address here is that we are at Qatar Transportation and Traffic Safety Center. We are now planning for a new international conference, will be in March 21, 22 next year, 2022. And it is the second International Traffic Safety Conference that will be held under the patronage of the Prime Minister of Qatar and in collaboration with many international associations such as IRF, EATS, and the WCTRS, the World Conference on Transport Risk Society. This conference will have also channels for submission of presentations and also full articles, journals, academic journals, scientific journals, with opportunity for publication in special issues. Maybe tomorrow at the end of our session also I will talk more about it and give you some more information. But for today, I would like to thank you all. I would like to thank IRF and the team there who supported us a lot and worked with us a lot in organizing this event. And I also would like to thank Miguel, who gave up his weekend day today of taking a rest to from his very busy schedule in Ashghar with so many projects running and going every day to give this presentation. We hope that this workshop had shaded some information about road safety audits. And again, many are asking about certificates. This is an uncertificate. Let's call it an online webinar or workshop. However, we will have soon a complete training courses that are certified, and they are will be mostly face-to-face in Qatar. So if you are interested, you have our emails, please drop us an email. And once this courses are announced and prepared, we will share all the information for those who are interested to join and participate with us. So thank you all again. Thank you, Miguel. We would like to thank you again and again, and we're looking forward to see you tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Perfect. No problem, Dr. Well. See you all tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.